Guys, you are not going to believe what I'm doing today. That's right. It is the Season 11 playoff PR. And yeah, we have just finished the SAPA PL season. So we've gone a whole nother season before we even got to this playoffs recap. And for those of you who do not remember, this is a Gen 9 Terra Preview draft format. Quite a lot of words. We started playing right around the time all the new mons got dropped in the DLC 2. So it was quite a fun but tumultuous time as we were attempting to figure out who was good and who was not. But basically, every Mons Terra is known ahead of time, not in the builder, but in the match itself. And then on top of that, we split our draft into a points-based system where every Mon was ranked based on how good we thought they were. And you had a limited number of points to make your team, as well as being a standard like snake draft. So it's a pretty interesting time. But for playoffs. We have top 8 coming out of that, and including regular season and pods, multiple people have played each other quite a few times throughout the season, so this is pretty interesting. For some of the matches they hadn't played at all, so you get a variety here. But for starters, we're going to start off with round 1. Like I said, top 8, winners, losers, a lot of matches to go through today. And on winners round 1 here, you have me versus Ethan. You can see the teams on the screen. The Terras will show up in the chat when I start the video, or when I start the replay. You can take a look at those for each match as we go through. I won't be looking at them too in depth because that would take years, so you can pause and just take a look and see why you might think what it is. But that being said, coming into playoffs, we have Ethan's team here, which is a little bit of a cheesy team, I'll call it. But he added some bulk to it going into playoffs, if I remember correctly. He dropped a few guys and added Alola Mola and Porygon 2, and ended up bringing both of them to kind of spike up his defense core a little bit, which he actually can use actual spikes with Garchomp spikes and Stealth Rock to try some hazard stacking, which is a pretty good idea to then allow for a Spapper to sweep, and I like the idea behind the team. Unfortunately for Ethan, he's a little bit of a menace to society. And I had to prep for this team twice in the regular season, so I was very well prepared. He probably could have gotten anyone else in round 1 and did really well. But since we both knew we were getting each other, I prepped pretty hard for a team like this. And my team consists of probably my best 6. You can debate whether or not that's true with some of the guys in the back there, like Vaporeon, who's extremely good, but there's a lot of good guys on this team. And Registeel, who is pretty good, but in a lot of matchups, but not great in others. But I like the team that I brought. It's a nice, bulky, balanced team. It certainly has some flaws, such as, having to make a bunch of decisions on the team's Terra types to beat Ethan's team more reliably and, fun stuff like that. But Terra Dark Clefable moment. But yeah, let's get into it. We're just going to start. I'll try to break it down from what I remember. It's been, like I said, a long time since we played these, so I do apologize if I miss anything ahead of time. I led Registeel, and he leads Garchomp, and I want to see what kind of Garchomp this is, because I remember Ethan ran a lot of offensive Garchomps, and then he reveals that he's hazard stacking, and I go, oh, that's a little scary. Hazard stacking, Rough Skin, Rocky Helmet, probably the worst situation I could have been led into, but he actually Dragon Tails me out, so I'm a little thankful. I've learned from my past mistakes of Gen 3, and I'm bringing a lot more boots on this team, except you do see here that the Clefable is not boots, and it's not Magic Guard, so that's kind of funny. Coming in to absorb the Dragon Tail, and I just Moonblast here to hit Sneasler on the way in, expecting it to come in on that turn, and also cover for Garchomp, But it was really a Sneasel pick. I did not expect him to go right into it, expecting, to get that Unburden sweep maybe later in the match. But he's out of there. I got Rocky Helmet Lando, who takes a ton of chip, but no more fast Sneasler, which is nice. And then I reveal Taunt on Lando to beat Wish Passing, because that thing Wish Passing is a real menace after a while. So then I go into Vaporeon, take the flip turn Water Absorb, and Alola Mola is having a bad day. But now Ethan reveals he's a Trace Porygon 2, classic old school Porygon 2 duck. Eviolite, I can't touch it with Vaporeon very well, so I actually go into Ape here to get a Rage Fist boost. I start bulking just to see what he does. He goes for Discharge. Now, to all of you who might be wondering throughout this set, wow, Brian, you're getting really lucky. You haven't gotten hit by a status ailment. This is a Covert Cloak Annihilate, because in my path of bracket, I recall not only Ethan bringing a bunch of weaker attackers, but I also recall Salt Cure Garganacl on Hall's team potentially being in my bracket, if, he won enough, which we'll see if it happens. And I'm like, I need a Salt Cure guy that can both boost Rage Fist, I need a Rage Fist guy, my Rage Fist guy to be able to take these rock moves and just start going crazy. So I'm Vital Spirit to also stop Hypnosis Espathra, because, like I said, he's a little menace. He's trying to Espathra me. Not going to happen. And now he goes for a Dire Claw Sleep proc, but he still does not realize I'm Covert Cloak at this point. And, like, why would he know? He hasn't knocked me off yet. So, yeah, I'm getting a whole Game 1 sweep here just based on team building technology ahead of time. Ethan's going to hopefully take that and adapt for the rest of the games, because as soon as, you know, this 300 base power 2.5 times Annihilate is here, it's over. Maybe he should have had Rage Fist banned, but you also got to be careful. It's just like, this is a very specific ape. Like, it's not even Defiant, it's Vital Spirit, so... Game 1 was kind of definitely a wash for Ethan, but I did see his hazard stack playstyle, and it was very different from what I thought he would bring, from what he was showing in the regular season. So it was expected with the team he traded into, but it was nice to see him actually go for it. We're going to see how he adapts in Game 2 here. So I start off with Landorus, and he goes right into a Spother to try and hit up a Hypnosis, but could also protect here, right? Scouting what I'm going to do. I believe I'm Rocky Helmet, and I let him go to bed, which is kind of a mistake by me, honestly. But I didn't want to take the chance with Ape. I don't know the Espathra's moveset yet because he died so quickly. So it's all about information gathering in these earlier games. So Calm Mind comes in, and he goes into Sneasler, which is a great counter into Calm Mind Clef, because now I play the 50-50 of does he Dire Claw me or does he close combat, and actually stay in. Thinking he would maybe read me, and I kind of got my Clefable in a really bad spot because of that. So I have to go into Vaporeon and pray that, you know, it doesn't get put to bed or anything by Dire Claw. So I dodge a really important hit there, and he's out. I put off a Terra Blast just in case Porygon 2 came in, because it would have killed either way. And he's wishing, for some reason he wishes into Porygon 2 instead of attempting to get Sneasler back in, which is fine. You know, I'm happy with getting my health. He's happy with getting Water Absorbed for that turn at least. Now Manaphy is here, and if he's smart, which I think he is, he should have killed Michael Fable that turn. With like an Energy Ball, I think, but, or in this case, a Learning Voice would have done it, right? And then that Manaphy would have been insane, so. Manaphy a very scary mon for most teams to deal with, but this is why I'm bringing the Unaware guy. Even through the misplay in the early game, right? Like, Clefable's being asked to do a lot in Gen 9 on my team. And right now I reveal Protect, which Protect on Clefable, so he will stay in, get a big crit, but he really shouldn't stay in too much longer. He probably should pivot out to Sneasler or something. Still attempting for like Spadef drops, it looks like. Yeah, no, this is good music for watching Clef stall out of Manaphy for all you Manaphy fans out there. While we're here, Fish comes back. He's attempting to get more life points on the board, obviously, because it can't do a whole lot else. So he wishes, and he's either going to have to hard switch here, because you can't, you know, you don't want to flip turn on him. No, I Drain Punch expecting just something to come in. Probably like Garchomp usually. You know, I'll still take the chip, but just trying to catch a good read there. But with somebody going to bed, we got to see what this Espathra is, and we do see that it is Calm Mind. Speedy Calm Mind, you know, got the Protect, Calm Mind, Hypnosis, so we can assume it's a stored power set. So I Terra Dark here just to make him useless. I don't know if I need it, if I'm being honest at this point. Only because, well, there's a lot of boosts. Like, I think I could have two-shot with Calm Mind. It's hard to say. I wasn't doing the calcs on, like, future turns. But a really funny thing happened here where Porygon 2 actually gets, he gets Unawares. I can't even set up on it. It's kind of funny. Garchomp's here is a water type. That's cool. So I'm actually in a bad spot. He's doing really well this game, Ethan. He's getting his hazards up. I'm not able to find my momentum, so I'm just stuck using Wish a bunch. I do get an Annihilate in, which is nice. And Ethan makes a big misplay here where he put up a second layer of spikes instead of, you know, I know forcing me out would cause the Rage Fist, but there's so many hazards at this point, you can control them later. Getting the full HP back on Annihilate is a real problem. Especially because he still does not know I'm Covert Cloak. I've been hiding this information for a while. I mean, you can make a guess at this point. But he is scalding me, fishing for the burn chance, and every hit he goes is just boosting Rage Powder more and more. Or sorry, Rage Fist, not Powder. So, all of a sudden what looked like a really good spot for Ethan, just due to not knowing the items, just, you know, comes in. Unfortunately, this is the only unfortunate part of playing Game 1. You do get to build for the team, but you don't get to know the team. After Game 1, you can look at anyone's team and see what they brought for their sets. It's not like the sets are unknown at this point, which I almost wonder if it would be cooler if we did it the old way still, but, I mean, that's just Mons. You know, it is what it is. Like if I could have hid my Covert Cloak from everybody for my matches, that would have been sick. But everybody knew it as soon as the set was over. Like if you weren't aware of it here, you're gonna be aware of it next set. And I'm just speaking over Annihilate, shipping a rage fist, everybody. It's this game's over again. I will say Ethan played a lot better, but he made one mistake, and then continued to make the same mistake a few more turns instead of like switching out or something. Like if he could have gotten a safe switch into like, you know, even a spot throw and attempted to just start sword powering up and force me to, you know, switch out. Like there were plays here, but what he did was not quite, or even Manaphy with Alluring Voice, right? Get an Alluring Voice check here. Like I was pretty close to dead with all these hazards up, so just a small misplay. I think Ethan's team is really scary. People underrated it going into playoffs. It's just I got lucky to face into it round one. I think I would have been I think people would have been in for a lot harder teams, surprised than I realized, if he kept running through winners when they weren't ready for it. Anyways, upcoming next on the bracket, we have David versus Hall. David's team was for some reason widely regarded as the #1 team drafted coming into this playoffs, like you know, very beginning of the season, right before anyone made changes. And looking at it on paper, it looks really, really good. But the defensive backbone of the team is definitely held together by Screamtail and Corviknight. So there are certain matchups where that's not particularly great. And then Terrakion's here. This was when Terrakion was at his lowest. He was like a PUmon at this point. You know, he was dropped. Everyone was laughing at him. I think David wanted to show up and show off with him a little bit by bringing him to playoffs, but also just probably good into Hall's team. You know, having Terrakion here can do some good work against Knacklestack. I didn't even say Garganacl. I meant Knacklestack. That's how nasty Knacklestack is. Hall made playoffs with the unevolved form of Garganacl, the middle form. But anyways, yeah, David's team strong and tanky, has some default. I don't remember if Core gets default, honestly. We'll see if he pulls it off. But I think Hall's team actually matches quite well into it. Enamorus is really good here, especially if it's contrary. You know, you get some. You start spamming superpowers if you know the big dragon ghost type goes down. I'm forgetting his name. Dragapult. Tentacruel's really hard to deal with on this team outside of Ursaluna. And Ursaluna doesn't really want to be here against like an Enamorus, so it's kind of a fun mix. And also the guys in the back here really talked about Grim, Mew, Goodra, great support mons. And we'll just get right into it. So they both lead off, you know, Hall leading off a safe Grimmsnarl pick here, just parting shot out. But gets his Tentacruel knocked off. We do find out that David's team is going to reveal quite a lot of information about Hall's team through knockoff. And vice versa. So we see that this was Specs, Dragapult, now no longer Specs. Which is a blessing or a curse depending on how often he was willing to hit dragon moves. Shoutouts offensive Grimmsnarl, gotta be one of my favorite goats. You don't need screens when you're just dealing 50% with Spirit Break. And shout out, boom, AV Bear, I believe? Taking not too much from that. So Knacklestack is in to take a Blood Moon, and he, wow, took nothing. Look at this pet rock. Who let this be legal? Who said, yeah, middle evolved form, that's you're allowed to have that much special defense. But we do have Trick Choice Scarf on Screamtail, which is really funny. I know, I remember everyone read me their sets over time, but it's been so long, I really do think that's pretty funny. I don't remember what he actually got tricked that first time. I think he got tricked something that he had to trick again. I get to trick another Choice Scarf or something. So now he no longer has Choice Scarf. But Tentacruel can't heal, so he's got to get out of there. Mew is in. Scupula Jones. Mew's a funny guy in this draft format. Hall had a lot of options with Mew, and he chose to go with the Meteor Beam set, which I am a big fan of, over like an SD set, Nasty Plot set, a weird support set, a Stealth Rocks lead set. Like, a lot of times he was running like Stealth Rock sets, but this is the real way to go with it sometimes. You just gotta have your big wall breaker out there on this team, which can help facilitate Enamorus. So with Ursaluna down and Knacklestack completely ignoring Dragapult by existing, thank you to Purifying Salt. Pretty much David's in a really tough spot, not having much healing. In fact, might not even have healing at all on this team outside of like Wish or Healing Wish on Screamtail. So Terra goes, Knacklestack is about to go crazy. And I don't see an easy way out of it outside of maybe Trick or Encore. Which we do see Wish come out, so it is here. And then we see a really sad Ice Beam by by Screamtail, not even kill Mew. It's still a heal block too, so unable to get that Wish off, but Screamtail luckily extremely fast, probably even faster than Enamorus if Enamorus was not scarfed. And Amorous is scarfed. Which now, now Screamtail is scarfed again for the 5th time this match or something. I do like David passing it to Air Taxi. The, you know, just getting him all his health back. But I don't think he's going to have enough in the tank. We'll see if Pet Rock, now having the neutral ghost type, not weakness. Oh, yeah, he can take that, no problem. Yeah, so I think Pet Rock cleans up at this point. I can't even imagine how David wins this anymore. So we'll likely be going to game 2. And when you run into, like, a draft format and you see, like, yeah, you might be looking at those 4-point guys like Nagelstag or whatever and be like, oh, how scary could it possibly be? But if you're not prepared for it, there's a reason. There's a reason it got drafted, you know? Like, more Mons have a niche in usage than you think, and especially the ones with broken moves. Broken moves can make or break a Mon for sure, like, easily. And Nagelstag, probably one of the best ones. So, we do have a Iron Ball Grimmsnarl reveal just now, which is hysterical that he brought that to playoffs. And it kind of mattered. And now we're just down to Goodra versus Dragapult. The game got a lot closer than I thought it would when I first watched. And then we see physical Goodra, which is wild. So he drops the Draco. There's no way it mattered. He would have needed like a super crit, right? To get it. And I still think it wouldn't have killed, right? So Susan, reloaded, takes the win game 1. We'll move on to game 2. We'll see how David plays around Nagelstag better in game 2. And also whether or not Hall has any more tricks up his sleeve. Such as, you know, just straight up killing this Terrakion on turn 1. I mean, I'm not even sure that that crit mattered. It was definitely close. This is, again, a very offensive Grimmsnarl, and Terrakion not really known for his defensive prowess. Barrow's having the worst day of his life. He's going to do about, like, what, 4? 15? Okay, you know what? That's better than I thought it would do. And they're just really attempting to chip down the Pet Rock before he can even recover, but the Earth Power doing just a little bit too little to do any damage, so basically traded all of Ursula's HP for nothing, which is fine. Because as long as he has Ogipogi around, like, the knockoff Ivy Cudgel is actually insane in this entire team. The Water Pond. So. And you don't even know what other coverage it has. We do see U-Turn. Ooh. And the YouTube thinks that I'm already done watching? Oh, no, I just had a weird cut in that song. Okay. Interesting. Anyways, back to the match. We do see Body Press hitting Susan Reloaded, who I believe is, he might be Sap Sipper. I don't know if we saw that interaction. I believe that this Ogerpon doesn't even have a grass move, so it's kind of funny. But grass moves are pretty good in the Hall's team, so I get it. We just see Mystical Fire, though. A really, really funny combination. Like, half the reason you don't run Mirror Armor is because then you give the special attack boost on that, but I mean, it's way more common you want to bounce back Intimidate, so, you know, you got to take the give and the take. And speaking of the give and the take, Hall's about to take this Corviknight out. Will, with time-honored tradition, correct advice of Pokemon is a game for children. Truer words have never been spoken, and they are still relevant today. The Pet Rock will continue to dominate everybody that's not Ogerpon, so it's kind of a game of sacks right now, I'd call it. Who's gonna get sacked first? Hall's team is currently losing the sack war. The Rocks Up do quite hinder Enamorous. And the Moonblast does kill, which is pretty surprising, as that was an AV Bear. And going into Nagelstag here, I'm not sure I agree with. But again, I don't think there was an answer as soon as as soon as Goodra and Grimmsnarl went down, I don't think he had an answer to Ogerpon. We do have Stellar Mew attempting to kill, but no. We could see the power of the one Mon that's now been effectively argued to be one of the strongest OU Mons in the tier right now. So David doing a good job. He got, keeping that Ogerpon on the offensive the whole time, just generating all that momentum. It was a much quicker match. I barely had time to talk about it. But Dragapult, like the guys that needed to hit the field did. And that was basically just Ogerpon. So let's see if he pulls into that game 3 with the same mentality or not. So game 3 comes on in. We get a parting shot from Grim to lead. And I do like that Ogerpon's leading off the bat. Like, yeah, you don't want to... Wow, what's actually kind of interesting, Ogerpon also blocks the trick from Grimmsnarl for the most, I believe, thanks to having the funny item. So he could have just gone for a knockoff that turn if he really wanted. But Terrakion gets an instant kill. I don't know why Hall let Tentacle die there. Granted, he doesn't have a lot of good switch-ins. Like, you're always playing a 50-50 of what's the Terrakion going to do? Is he going to Swords Dance? Is he going to hit me? So, you know, just lost the read there. And Grudra's now back in against the bear. Again, really good counter to the bear. But this set is just really weird. It's fun to see people build their teams on their own sometimes, because sometimes the weird sets really work out, right? Example case, the Jirachi with, like, you know, skill swap, or you know, Meteor Beam on this Mew, for example, is working out quite nicely. And then we get some weird ones like Trick, Scarf, Wish, Ice Beam, Scream Talon. Like, hey, maybe it works. We do see, though, that Hall has now sacked 2 of his guys, and Ogipogi is going absolutely insane. But Dragon Tail out on the switch there, so a little... I think Hall getting his rocks up was very nice for him this game. He didn't get them up last game, and while the team isn't too weak, making Ogerpon Wellspring take 12% every time is going to matter a lot. Because all he needs is the Namorous to get in there around that, you know, that load time. And we see Corviknight just... This poor Susan reloaded, man. Like, it's rough out here. Physical Goodra has done literally nothing this set. It did, you know, like, and it did nothing that Special Goodra couldn't do. I imagine it'll put in more work later, though, because it's a neat set with some pretty cool ideas. But not at this HP. At this HP, it's a sack. It's not a sack, except it is a sack. Oh, that stinks. That's a bad freeze. It's a lot of momentum that could be generated from this freeze here. But choosing just to go raw into Ogerpon instead of setting up a Wish or anything. I wonder if David should have wished that turn. Is he still Scarfed? I'm going to pause and find out. Okay, so he was still Scarfed, so he did have to switch. We see a big U-turn on Mew, and maybe another sack of Corviknight for the 3rd time? Why are we not, like... No, I guess you don't really have a better sack. Oh, but a huge... Not crit, but, you know, pretty big, strong... have to sack Corviknight from Mew pretty much every time. But Hall is down to 2, and these are... Well, they are his 2 best. It's certainly not great. U-turn, pretty important crit. Smile. Going into Blood Moon to sack it to Salt Cure, so the rest of his guys to stay healthy is a mood. That's a sad day. But the Blood Moon's going to do a lot more, like insanely more damage, because now he is a Ghost type and not a Rock type, and thank you, Mind's Eye, for being a real ability. That's pretty cool. Going to make, at least force this Knackle stack to go down to, like, if he crits, it's over, but, you know, at least force him down to 60 for the next guy to come in and try to clean up, which he sends an Ogerpon for a big knockoff opportunity here, which does kill. But we noticed that over time, Ogerpon has gotten in a pretty tough spot here. It's in Moonblast range, potentially. And this is a Scarf and Hammer, so let's see. Does it kill? It does. Nothing you can do about that. And we do see Scream Tail here. Terra into a fire, and then does he hit Wish, chat? We do see Ice Beam come out. The special attack drop was huge. And that's going to be a lot of damage. It's not going to be enough. So, while a really smart Terra, I don't know if his Terrakion or his Dragapult at 100% had a better Terra option that could have lived, but because they were both weak to Fairy, and the Ice Beam special attack drop on Scream Tail did matter, and I know we talked about the fact that Scream Tail, like, could have switched out to reset it, but then you're taking 12% chip on rocks, and I think you still get beat up by an X-Beam. Like, it's a tough one to think about, because now you know, you're not Boots, you Terrify, you're taking all that chip. It's effectively the same thing. The only thing I would have recommended is, you know, if David just hit Wish there, just because you know it's going to be locked into one move, and you already saw which move it was. But regardless, insane comeback by Hall. I know David was beating himself up over this one, but that's just the way it goes sometimes. You just gotta, you know, we'll see how he continues. It was a really fun set, and I think both players should appreciate. They're smart. They're pretty honestly cool team builds. And speaking of cool team builds, we have the only guy I think that gave Corey an L this season. We have Ernest versus Corey, but that doesn't mean that this matchup isn't insanely Corey favored. Ernest is in a really tough spot bringing the 6 he brought. And it's effectively the same 6 he brought to Corey when Corey brought his team originally. Corey brought this same 5, but subbed in Ninetales for some support on playoffs. I believe that was a playoff pickup to help, you know, keep the boosters alive. And this team is just absolutely insane looking right off the rip. You kind of know what they all do. We'll see if any of them are tricky. We've seen Terra, Fairy, Volcanion brutalize pretty much everyone this season. On the other hand, Ernest building his team for, we see King Gambit here. King Gambit's really crazy. But talk about being like a really bad matchup, right? You've got a bunch of fire types, a Skarmory, and two priority users and a dark type. This is not his day. He stayed at home when they played in the regular season. Dragonite's also got a pretty hard job this day. He's got to deal with all this priority, and if he wants a Terra normal E-Speed, he's got to deal with Skarm. Moltres holds a lot of this team together, but Moltres and Keldeo both being weak to Bolt. So Ernest is going to need to play out of his mind, I think, to make this win work. Starting off with Keldeo versus Volcanion, and Volcanion just goes for Terra Fairy right off the bat and kills it. So Keldeo, honestly, he got trapped there. He got tricked. He got bamboozled. Corey went, I'm locked in. You can't hit water moves. You can't hit fighting moves. I can take that kill for free. And why wouldn't he? There's no real fairy switching on this team that wants to take on Volcanion. So I wish Keldeo was a little bit better in this format. I know we all ranked him high, and everyone says he's good, and all the stats point to him being good, but he just isn't good. Something's not right. Something's wrong here. Oh, he's got Diancie coming in on Raging Bolt, who takes the Dragon Pulse at least pretty nicely. But the Calm Minds are coming out from Tom DeLonge. And Ernest apparently says, I'm okay with this, which is a really, really crazy thing to say to a Calm Minding Raging Bolt, which puts up his rocks. So you better hope that Ursaluna can hang. And it doesn't. Turns out it just dies to 2. Dies to 2. That's a shame, buddy. This game's over. I don't know what the calc is for that to live. Maybe he needed an Assault Vest. Maybe he needed to invest more HP in the calc. But yeah, that was the quickest game ever. And this is why I was always saying Corey's team was so good. It's just, there's a lot of heat here. Like, you look at this team and it's an actual OU team. There are 5 actual OU guys and the Sun supporter. Pretend that's a Torkoal. This is a real team. It was a fantastic draft by Corey. And, like, sure, you could say, oh, but Ernest's team is the same, but it's just, in this case, it's probably the worst matchup he could have asked for. So, I don't really have a whole lot to say about what he could have done better. I think straight up there wasn't anything he did that he could do with this team specifically. Obviously, he has to figure out a way to kill Volcanion, and he'd have to figure out a way to get, to stop Dragonite from killing himself. Which, by the way, shout-outs to Volcanion taking that Banded Earthquake like it was nothing. And now, of course, oh, it's not Banded, that's why I took it. Oh, okay, all right. Well, Dragonite hopefully did enough for Chicken Wing to come in here. We do see Ember coming in for the first time and taking actually a significant amount from that Moltres. Sometimes you forget that Moltres has, like, 125 special attack or something absolutely crazy. And then I believe Ember's going to use Healing Wish here. A lovely, lovely Ninetales solution to set up another Tom DeLonge sweep. Now with the Photosynthesis boost and the ability to Terra. Oh, come on, guys. Let me say it. But then Ernest sets up a Trick Room, which I really enjoy. Except for one problem here. How is he going to get around Thunderclap? Like, it's a cool Trick Room, but what's the out? You had to sack 2 guys to do it just to deal 35 on a Fire Punch. Now, I think the play here is to protect and hit Facade. If he had it, we can assume he had it, right? We can assume he had both, but we don't know for a fact. But as soon as he hit Fire Punch in the Sun, because, you look at it and you go, oh, that's a cool number. And then you deal 35 to a not even Dragon-type Raging Bolt anymore. Like, that's life, baby. I'm just glad that this set went so fast I don't have to talk about it. We'll talk more about each of these players individually when they get to more competitive sets in the future. But this was still a winner's round 1 set, so both of them still have a set to go at least. We get into the final set of round 1. We have Matt versus Triple, and Matt's team is interesting, right? It doesn't look scary at first, but with the power-ups of Gallade and Ogerpon Cornerstone throughout the year, his team got very, very strong physically. Like, this is extremely physically strong team. The power of Heatran and Weezing and Slowbro is a really good defensive core, too. And Meowscarada is Meowscarada. I mean, it does what it does. There's a reason it's still an OU, even though it's, so, quote, outclassed at this point. But, and on paper, it looks like a great balanced team. Triple, on the other hand, bringing out the UU guys themselves. You've got Greninja, you've got Low Kicks, you've got Tink, you've got Slowking, but, the OU one. And you've got Mandibuzz, and you got Baxcalibur hanging out here. And this team is really scary, too. Like, just the fact of having Slowking, Galar, and Baxcalibur is automatically, like, going to invalidate a couple teams. And a lot of, potential Regenerator knockoff use here. So it should be a good time. And we'll get to first round one here. Matt going into getting a good lead on the start, going for, you know, U-turn, just getting momentum after realizing Greninja can't do anything. Rocky Helmet Tink has arrived. That's a pretty interesting one. And we see Magma Storm, so the classic Heatran, trapping Heatran set. It doesn't really run anything anymore, sadly. This is what you need to do with it. And now he can't leave, so this Slowking is pretty much getting completely outclassed by Heatran, but if he can survive all the turns, which if he has Slack off, he could have, then we're there. We do end up finding out this is not Flash Fire Heatran, but Flame Body, which isn't even the worst thing here, because, you know, looking at like Tinkaton or low kicks, it'd be pretty much straight up using Flame Body for the low kicks counter. Matt, I think, forgot about Future Sight and sent Weezing into his death. Or felt like he needed to do that to not just die to Excalibur. It was kind of a 50-50 of what Excalibur was going to do, right? But Tink gets rocks up, goes for a knockoff, which is really big on Slowking here. And now is encoring it into Future Sight, and Encore being the best playoff move of all time, in my opinion. People do not really prep around it too well, or have the option to prep around it too well, I'd say. We get Taunt here on Mandibuzz, which is fine because he's turning out, but he gets no burn. No burn. Don't know if it's like Overcoat or something, or if he's holding Covert Cloak or whatever it is. I'm sure his boots just missed the burn. Earthquake on to an Ice Shard crit, and I don't know if the Ice Shard crit mattered, but like it is Excalibur, but it is 33%, so I go back and check that. But that guy being down is big for J2. Although it is a 2-2 right now, and if this thing doesn't Terra Fire right here, he will get burned. So JT going for Terra Fire, really smart. Now we'll no longer have to worry about Flame Body, resists Magma Storm, just hits knockoff anyways, crits. Probably didn't matter. Maybe it did. I don't know, Tinted Lens calcs always throw me off. Then decides to sack Slowking to do this is basically low kicks coming in and saying, I'm hitting 3 U-turns. I'm hitting 3 first impression U-turns now that Heatran's dead, right? Like, I got nothing better to do. We're each going to sack him on, and whoever comes out ahead wins. So they've decided to make the game real fast, but unfortunately, Mandibuzz kind of slows it down too much, I'll say. And we've got this, regeneration, heavy-duty boots core, and there's just not enough gas in Matt's team to take it on. Like, no way around low kicks, man. He's the UU gatekeeper for a reason. Knockoff on Mandibuzz. We do see the boots. Terra Fire on the cat for heck if I know, but man, that's sad that didn't kill right there. So we got Triple Axel. Attempted to pick up this kill. This time he could get it. Does not get it. Does hit all 3 though. And this game is over by no stretch of the imagination. Ice Shard, first impression, whatever you want to come in with, really. So JT takes game 1. Pretty good, strong showing for low kicks, realizing that you can build a whole team to beat low kicks, but it's still low kicks. You know? JT's team getting gooped on all regular season for being bad, quote unquote bad, but it's not. A knockoff and Strange Steam here, so low kicks probably needs to be wary of his health just in case he gets knocked off at any point. We do have a confused Slowking Galar, which is very important because this can cause him to be a little less consistent, which is why we probably got the Chilly Reception on that turn. Now we'll see if Heatran decides to stay in. Going into Gallade on a Dark Pulse. Wow. Okay. So this is proving that it's Scarf Gallade then. And we do see the trick come in. We do see Scarf, which does a lot of damage. And also getting the worst possible switch into Trick right there. So everyone getting their boots knocked off and whatnot. It's going to make it a lot harder for JT's team to break through with the Trick. You know what? I should have brought a Trick on. That would have been a good idea to beat some of these guys. Stealth Drive's coming in on Heatran. I mean, at least you got your rocks up. Sending him back to, quote, live a Magma Storm and get the Thermal Exchange is the craziest thing I've ever seen. Because he's not even faster. Look at that! Look at that! Whoever hates Timid? Who hates Timid? Raise your hand if you hate Timid Excalibur. That's right, you should all put your hands down because I love Timid Excalibur. I will outspeed Max Speed Heatran. But you don't see that every day, so that's some cool playoff tech building where you don't bring something, but you bring the same idea, but you mix it up a bit in how you bring it, and everyone goes, "Oh, I never saw that coming." But I think JT got a little anxious sending him Excalibur like that to a Magma Storm. because you have to know that you can survive 2. Because even if it's not fast heat train, like, do you know you survive 2 of those? What if he Terra Grasses, right? He's at 100. He can just play like all these 50-50s or Terra Fairies, right? So it's a rough call there. And Defog taking away the rocks, and now you're locked into always chilly receptioning with Slowking. Yeah, like you're gonna have to hope that Greninja puts the game. Yeah, Greninja puts the game on his back. Puts the BAME on his gack or whatever. I need more water. I've been speaking all day today. But Slowking comes in and I mean, you're going to offer up quite a lot of damage to this Ogerpon Cornerstone, except you do have Sludge Bomb on it. We do see that for now. Matt decided to go for the kill instead of switching to Heatran, knowing that he would be just fine with that damage roll. Slowking's had insane low damage here. The defense boost coming on Embody Aspect. It is not enough to survive the first impression. Once again, everybody clap for low kicks. It seems like it was a damage roll at the time. I will assume it will be the case. And then we got knockoff coming in on Meowscarada. Late game rocks coming in. We'll see if that's going to help or not. If Tinkaton gets burned here, that's huge. Does get the 30% burn, and Tinkaton's in a really bad spot now. Mainly forcing Slowking into encoring a move it probably already wanted to do. Going into Greninja, he's really hoping to not get burned again. He does! Oh no! Luckily it's a special attacker, but like that chip could become relevant if like Sucker Punches on Meow or something. Yeah, putting up rocks against the Heavy Duty Boots Meow and 100% Heatran, I don't know if that was worth a turn of Tinkaton, right? Like, what if you just Gigaton Hammer somebody right there? Wow, hard switching and low kicks to avoid. Seeing that this guy has gotten his boots knocked off, that's a good play. But now he's dead, and you have to go Greninja and hit your Hydro Pump, I think. But it doesn't have Hydro Pump, it has Water Shuriken! And just like JT, very JT-like to only get 2 hits of Water Shuriken when he can go up to 5. Granted, the 2 and 3 are likely, and 3 apparently wouldn't have even killed, so like, shoutouts not just having Hydro Pump. Foul play can burn the target. It is a contact move. So we are going to game 3 because unless Triple Axel missed for, there was a small chance that Triple Axel missed there, right? That was the ending game. We see taking on Die to Rocks and moving on. I just realized we have the Protein Brothers in this battle. Hitting the Gritty starts off the match. Kind of funny. They're both kind of scared due to, like, who's going to hit through who? Like, are you going to Water Shuriken me and try to get a 5 hit? Are you going to... What are you going to do? Oh, we see Gigaton Hammer come in. Kind of funny. I don't think Tink can get burned due to Mold Breaker. Even if it did reach with Gigaton Hammer, so I believe that's how that works. It's kind of funny. Anyway, Slowking has seen the future, and he's flamethrowing in. So we actually see that this Slowking has 3 attacks and chilly reception, no recovery. His only recovery move is switching out. And with the taunt and the Magma Storm, it's gonna probably be dead. Thanks to the trapping move right there, yep. So Heatran doing a wonderful job. No snow, no regenerator. The defensive core is breaking down. DD Baxcalibur is coming in to try to flinch an Ice Crash. Does not get it, but you know what? Does get a 2-hit KO if he wants to take it. But it is asking a lot out of Baxcalibur. Oh my god, that did 39 to Slowking? Oh my god, that killed. Wow, this guy, maybe he should stay in Ubers. Ice Shard to Mr. Fortnite. So Baxcalibur came in really early and, chipped through a decent bit of the team, but I don't know if it really took out the most important guy yet. I did take out Slowking, so both, Slowkings are dead. Kind of funny. JT getting a little impatient, going for knockoff. He gets away with it. Thought maybe Matt had a move for this guy, but I don't think he does. So Greninja's in a great spot, but Glade's in a better spot. We see Water Shuriken, 1, 2. He needs 4, he gets 2. So, yeah. Water Shuriken is a bad move at times, unfortunately. Run loaded dice. Or don't, I don't care. Mold Breaker coming in, we see Terra Rock. So Sturdy is broken if it was Sturdy, but now since it's a body aspect, it's going to, 1, just straight up kill, and 2, there was potential for it to, die to the Ivy Cudgel. or die to the Gigaton Hammer. But now we see the most important guy on the team here breaking through all of JT's walls. We do love to see a good old-fashioned endgame Swords Dance sweep. So Matt getting the picking up some strong guys in playoffs for these two, Gallade and Ogerpon, and getting a nice 2-1 over JT in round 1. All right, so I'm gonna put these on dark mode. I don't know why they're on light mode here. For some reason, JT put a couple of these up on the GitHub instead of just having the replays set up. That way, like, it was right around this time where Pokemon Showdown replays, like, you know, went offline. They like had their database issues. But you guys should still be able to see these pretty good, right? Yeah. So this is now winners round 2. Moving on, we're gonna have me versus Hall. So the same exact teams you saw in game 1. It's just a matter of this time there is, you know, we all have a little more knowledge of technology. So I start off with Registeel. He starts off with Grimmsnarl. I know he does not really want to be in here against a Heavy Slam user. So, you know, I'll take it. He only seems to have Spirit Break as an attack. And I know that this Tentacruel isn't, like, we don't know what it's going to do yet, but I do know that it doesn't really have an answer for Steel types. And Tentacruel just generally cannot have an answer for a Steel type. So while he attempts to spin away my rocks, I'm just getting ridiculously strong. I do not even care about these T-Spikes. I still have my Iron Moth, so I think Hall is just wasting a little bit of time here. Obviously, he's going to try and switch in later. Of course, I waste time going for, you know, Stealth Rocks when I could just be body pressing because he's just going to be, you know, I don't have lefties. He already knocked off my item. And now he has Terra'd his Pet Rock. And I have to go into Iron Moth here, even though I know it's coming. I have to get rid of the T-Spikes now. Which is a pretty big L for me to have to take this early on. But I then go into Sasuke Uchiha, who is now revealed to be Covert Cloak for sure. And he immediately gets out of there knowing what's about to come in. A big resisted Rage Fist. Grimmsnarl does take it pretty well. But if Hall's going to want to win this match round now, he's going to have to do a lot of double switching, I think. We do see Iron Head come in. No Heavy Slam, doing Iron Head for consistency, I believe. And maybe, maybe the chance to flinch slower mons on a really weird basis. Hall doing a double switch out, though. He doesn't like that Vaporeon's in against an Amorous. He knows he can't break that. And I'm ready for the Meteor Beam Mew, but he Psychic Noises me instead, which is really smart. I don't get my wish now. No wish for me. But Registeel's already kind of done his job, right? The rocks are up. Grim and Tentacruel are dead, so he can take the L, even if it means that I don't have another Enamorous switching. I'm just, scooping up Scupula Jones here, breaking him down into, like, Iron Moth range, who can come in and revenge kill. Good thing he hits this Meteor Beam. He might have missed. That would have been really sad. So Iron Moth does get to force out Mew, or at least force a switch. Going into Goodra here to take a fire move, most likely, but we do got a critical hit on the Fire Dance, which is really, really, really nice. Just, breaking everybody down. Dragon tells me out. I had no reason to switch, but he also doesn't have a good move to hit me. So the Ape is back, and the Ape gets a pretty cool and free and easy win now, thanks to Rage Fist, but Enamorous coming in, wanting to prove a stop to that. I can't Terra my Annihilate. He was on the Terra ban list, so I have to switch out. And Scupula Jones here one more time. We're going to protect. Mainly protecting so I can get this heal off. And now I'm feeling a lot better. So Thunderbolt's going to do about the same amount of damage as I came in at, but this time Mew is dead. And he has one more chance at Enamorous, and I believe I protect here to scout anything like a trick. But he just Moonblasts. He puts out the Knuckle Stack to take a... I just wish again, wow. He is chipping himself away. So Hall getting information, really, just looking at damage numbers before he goes to game 2, right? Does get a special attack drop, which is nice. But now it is good game. He has possibly Earthquake, possibly Body Press, Knuckle Stack. Regardless of what happens, I really think it's funny that crit didn't kill, because Knuckle Stack is a beast. I'm at like 200 base power, and he still took the hit. Purifying Salt is really good. But now he knows. Let's see how he adapts for game 2. And every one of these is going to have to go dark, huh? Apologize for the flashbangs you guys are going to get in between each set. Go play some CSGO or whatever. So starting off, we both shake our rocks. I'm actually going to switch sides here, so I'm looking at it from my perspective. Makes a little more sense to me, at least, right? But he goes into Tentacruel, and this time I just go straight into Landorus. I don't want to get knocked off, but he goes for a Rapid Spin. But I'm okay with that because I got Rocky Helmet, so if he wants to get rid of the rocks for chipping away his only spinner, we'll make it happen. Steely Divers is here again to potentially get tricked in Iron Ball, which would be kind of fun. But a Hall goes nicely into, Knuckle Stack. I'm going to take a lot of chip for doing this decision to put rocks up, but I think it's worth it. We intimidate the Pet Rock, but he switches out anyways in the Grimmsnarl, which is fun. And he tricks me in the Iron Ball, so I'm officially grounded. But I think I'll take that because, what's he going to hit me with exactly? That's a ground move here. I don't know what the trick Iron Ball is besides just speed control, and that is funny. I will say that. Anyways, now Clef is here to take on Scupula Jones, and that is easily the biggest counterplay I've ever seen. I Terra Dark, which is a interesting decision, because now I have to keep Registeel alive, but that stops me from getting, Psychic Noise, and I can now Calm Mind up on this Mew, which maybe forgot I was unaware. But the crit didn't forget, I'll tell you that much. So, I have to probably go for another Wish here. He attempts to go for a Freeze and gets it, which is pretty epic. Sometimes playing Cure out is cool, chat. I was upset at Corey, though. I have every right to be. Clefable is still frozen solid. But Mew is not the one that should be breaking it down. And I'm staying in just because I don't have a safe switch in at this point. And weirdly enough, we're getting close to where I can Wish again. So if I can pull off a Double Protect or get a good roll on Ice Beam, which I do, it's like it never happened. It's pretty interesting, this set here. Hall is going for Meteor Beam, which is really, really, really a waste of time. But he did it on the Protect turn, so I do like that. It does a little bit more damage, right? And at any point, I think Hall could have gone into Goodra, who has Dragon Tail. Or, this guy if he has Haze. But it doesn't seem like he actually has either. Or Knucklestack, who has, Salt Cure. At any point, he could have done that. And he chose to stay in with Mew and sack it. Or at least, bring it down. So I do find that a little bit of a misplay. But not a huge one, because he should have an out somewhere. Well, maybe not right now anymore, but he had an out. He still has the out. He just took a lot more damage than he needed to. And getting Sasuke is a funny mix here because he either has to hit me and force me out, which, we'll take it. Maybe I should have Drain Punched anyways, but I was going to be calling a switch there, I believe. And we do see Curse on this. We saw it last set, but we see Curse on Susan. Unfortunately, Susan is still weak to, getting hit by a 145 base power Earthquake, and that does stop, it stops it. It makes it hard to do. Now without lefties, though, you see how much easier Clefable is to break down. I've been saying that a lot. Let's break it down, chat. But now I've got Iron Moth, and Iron Moth's in a fantastic spot to just start spamming some moves. I can even Terra Ground and probably kill Tentacruel, but choosing not to, leaving and going in here to eat the Water Absorb, kind of a crazy play if I think about it more. Losing my boots isn't the end of the world here. Landorus T, does he know, chat? Not Clear Body. Oh, by the way, we found out it's not even Clear Body. It is Liquid Ooze on that Tentacruel. I don't know. I think that was strictly for Horn Leech on Ogerpon if he brought it on David's team, so I think that's a really funny take. It's a lot of damage he would have taken, and then he would have just, exploded the Ogerpon. But Steely Divers is in, and I Iron Defense, and honestly, that was a really bad Iron Defense. I should have put rocks back up. But again, he has to not be hitting Salt Cure into me, or otherwise, I get this. So Hall has to make too many reads that are really, really, really not in his favor. I'll say they're all not in his favor, and that's what makes this set so hard. When if he's not able to knock off the cloak, and that is the one big downside of running Salt Cure Knucklestack as your breaker, is having a really, really strong cloak user. But now that rocks are back up, now I'm actually gaming. And we go for Terra Blast here, which is kind of funny. I think it's like Terra Flying or something, or Terra Ice or whatever. But I just don't have a move to hit an Amorous otherwise. So now Annihilate is up to like 200, 250 again. We see probably 200 with a 56%, right? Definitely strong enough to be scary. To Nagelstack. He officially like can no longer hit me, but if he doesn't hit me, I'll get a bulk up kind of deal. So a really catch 22 on that moment. Now I'm willing to just sack Landorus. It's kind of funny. I forgot Intimidate's gonna give him the boost, and then he crit me. Crit mattered. Boost did not. And he could just send it again, right? So we Ironhead the Rock. And now he's either going to switch into Enamorus if he's smart, or he's going to stay in if he's and recover, which is, you know, the safe play, quote unquote, but it's not actually the safe play anymore. Like, it's lost all meaning of the safe play. Like, it had to be the double switch that turn. Just too much power on Rage. And he accepted that, and he knew what he was doing. He said, all right, you know what? I've accepted that Annihilate will just get a Rage Fist anytime I take out Amon. So in comes Rage Steel to finish the job, and we clean up Hall's team quite nicely. Everybody kind of got revealed. The Hall really did reveal my entire team. Everyone was like, oh, after Ethan, you didn't get any of your team revealed. It's so scary. But I promise you, regardless of who I went into Game 2, they were revealing my team. Those guys had knockoff everywhere. All right, Flashbang again. We got the other side of winners round 2. We got Matt versus Corey. The really, really, really scary other conference member. Actually, no, Matt was in my conference, and if I recall correctly, only lost one game as well. Whereas Corey only lost one game on his side. So getting them in this bracket at this point, pretty fun matchup. Everyone was seeded in bracket according to record, so that's why we're kind of getting it this way. We do see, I'm just jumping into it. Sorry, I'm starting to lose my voice a little bit. We do see knockoff spam early on, really good against Corey's team, specifically against the Skarmory, who otherwise walls a lot of the physical dudes. But Matt's team doesn't really care with all of the, non-contact moves, so it's kind of cool. Still by far your best move, though, for Cat. And we do see Volcanion burn Slowking, and unlike a lot of other water types, Slowking can deal with Volcanion by having Future Sight, so forced to switch out. The Chilly Reception comes out to change the weather of the snow, so we have a little bit of a weather war going on, whether or not it was intentional. And, yeah, Skarm doing Whirlwind before knocking off any of the boots on this team is tough, but he needs, like, a spike down if he wants to make it work, right? Spike and some knockoffs going, but this team that Corey built isn't really meant for spikes and knockoff. It's meant to be offensive, and that's why we see Body Press and probably Iron Defense on the Skarmory. So Iron Defense, Body Press, Roost, and Whirlwind. Or Stealth Rock. So even I have Iron Defense. He was crazy. He said, I don't care about ghost types. And for some reason, Skarmory's never doing this gen. Like, you gotta have your teammates to help with that, so. Which is pretty fun with the no pursuit metagame that we have. We do see Magma Storm coming in on Volcanion, causing more chip damage than actual damage. Magma Storm is a crazy move. And then, trapping him in for an easy Slowking switch. So Matt in control, slowly grinding down Corey. We do see just pivot. Not a whole lot else to say. And Corey goes the first one to Terra, survived the triple axe. Let's see if he, oh my god, he only hit once. Bruh. Oh my god, did you even need it, Terra? You took nothing from that. So, obviously not Banded Meow, Boots Meow different. We do see Thunderclap here, and now Corey has to probably switch in somebody who doesn't really want to take this, because someone's getting tricked the Choice Scarf. And as cool as it would have been to have, Choice Scarf on your Raging Bolt, you don't really want that. So now the Ninetales is tricked. At least, no one else can get tricked to Scarf. And Ninetales being Scarf tricked isn't the worst thing, fast healing wishes and all that. Matt does a Terra Fairy to survive here, which I get, I like. It's good. It could be good later on. Especially versus this very, this team's not very nice. Fairies aren't very nice in the Corey's team. The reason that Ernest's Fairy was not very good is because, it was Rock as well, which is, pretty much really bad against this team. Volcano and Skarmory, Rillaboom, they eat up that extra Rock typing pretty well. Even Roaring Moon has Earthquake, right? Which it might not due to grassy terrain. Tagalong is revealed to be a Calm Minesweeper, and now with no longer having the Dragon type, oopsie, maybe. Oh wow, let's go. I don't, Matt. It's, dude, 50-50s with the Raging Bolt, man. It's always 50-50, and now just, You know, getting a Trailblaze on Ogerpon Rock could actually go really, really hard, but I don't think it's good enough. Unless I mean, he could Terra here, right? Oh, he can't. He already Terra'd. And then he'd be weak to Grassy Glide. It's like, it's tough life. Volcanion's in. No longer has Water Absorb. It's irrelevant, though. Or, sorry, that's a Levitate, Weezing G. That is not a Neutralizing Gas one. Levitate, obviously, to give this team a little bit of ground immunity because they don't have one if he's not Levitate. They just get, you know, rocked by ground moves over and over again. Which nobody really has a good ground sweeper. I mean, my Landers would be the best one. But even then, he's you know, he's a little slower. Slug can take a hit. But Levitate massively helps out the team. We see Grassy Terrain come back up, and Grassy Glide does get the kill. Doesn't even need to like Terra or anything. I don't remember. I believe this Rillaboom isn't even banded, so it's kind of funny. It might be nowadays. It wasn't. There was some protective pads bans argument going on. Maybe it is banded. It did a lot of damage. The Sacred Sword comes in, huge crit, basically making it so Volcanion can't switch if he ever gets, you know. Yeah, no, he's forced to stay in and take the second one. But Roaring Moon should be able to come in here and probably get a good DD off if he wants. Oh no, there's no Terra anymore, so you can't get a DD off. So the Cat's in. Cat's faster than Roaring Moon, just forces it out. Grassy Surge back up. And yeah, here comes a couple triple axles, right? One. Just one. Wow. Missing a lot of triple axles today. And Protean causing, you know, no longer having that grass resistance. Not that it mattered. But something tells me that Weezing Galar here isn't... Oh, you know what? It could do this. I don't know why he stayed in. I know why he stayed in. He's just trying to sack it. Maybe to get Roaring Moon in, but... Starting to wonder if, like, they even have enough gas. That's going to start getting close. That's the problem. Yeah, so that looks to be, like, banded or some variation of Rillaboom that he can't switch moves, because he would have absolutely done it if he had the ability. So Roaring Moon in. We're going to see Iron Head. So that's the coverage option it's running this week. It's not running Earthquake, most likely. Like 99% not running Earthquake because of that. And we actually don't see Booster Energy, so this is like banded Roaring Moon, which is just ridiculous levels of damage. Maybe it's DD? I could have sworn it was banded. I mean, the more Corey plays, the more we're going to find out. Sorry, it's been a long, long time. So now we're starting off game 2. Corey took game 1. You know, on route here, doing all right. Sets up the sun, though, pretty early, which doesn't really help. You know, it's nice to have the sun up, but it doesn't really help Volcanion by any means. Spadef Drop does, though. That's nice. So Matt leaves. And YouTube thinks that we are done, apparently. So let's keep watching. What a weird time to pause the video, eh? Woo! That Magma Storm's going to trap that Ninetales. And Ninetales going down early is actually kind of bad for Corey's team. 2 Flash Fire dudes without Flash Fire is a mood, right? The reason Ninetales going down is bad is because it doesn't have a good trick target now. And the Glade's going to come in and, like, brutalize someone. Okay, it was DD. It wasn't banded. It's just DD with Iron Head coverage for this, which I like. But guess what? It doesn't do. It doesn't even kill. Weezing is better. Corey playing his hand a little bit too quickly there. Knowing he's up a game, you know, just trying to be aggressive with it. You know, trying not to let too much of a mental comeback happen. I can respect that. And here's Clear Smog. So Tom DeLong is getting goobed by good counterplay. And I'm not even sure why he Terra'd, if I'm being honest. Like, I guess, you know, he doesn't want to get Strange Steamed. But there's a lot of counterplay to Calm Mind. Like, there's a lot of good things to happen on this team if you still have your Terra. So. And speaking of good things to happen, there are no rocks up, so this Ogerpon's about to go crazy. An SD and a body press later. He might Whirlwind. I wonder if he should have Whirlwinded there, actually. We got a Grassy Glide coming in here cleaning up, but is it too little too late? No Skarmory means that Glade and Meowscarada are in a much better spot. That's going to do 35. Sorry for the cough, chat. Yeah. Rillaboom's actually pretty good spot here. Of course, he will die to Triple Axel, especially if the second one crits him. I almost wonder if Corey should have saved Rillaboom. That thing might have just slept on its own. And it would have lost Grassy Trade at some point. So Much faster game to get goobed a little bit by not respect. Like if Roaring Moon just... Oh, Roaring Moon was Terra Locked. That's right. That's why he's not running Acrobatics. He's probably running Iron Head Earthquake. Roaring Moon that can Terra, though, would have made this team unstoppable, in my opinion. Like, that's just the power of that guy with a team like this in this draft league. So, yeah, you know, I get it. I get it, Corey. Having one of your best mons not be able to Terra and having everyone just be ready for it, it's rough at times. Like being able to just say, oh, I got fighting coverage, I'm done. And we do see a close-end game, kind of, not really. Couple things were learned from that set, though. I'm sure on both sides. We do see a turn 1 Terra Fairy Volk. Wow. Does not get the burn, though, and is forced to sack his Ninetales on turn 2. You know, I think this is a lack of respect for Ogerpon, right? Like, you gotta either get the rocks up or put the guy in that stops him. We see Tom DeLonge fail to do it. 1%. That was probably a bad damage roll, but luckily gets to hit it again. And now Corey down his Terra, his best mons. I don't know why Matt actually went me out here. I guess he didn't really have a better option, huh? Yeah, I was confused by that at the time. Oh, but a huge Drain Punch, and then he gets burned. What a cool idea into get punished. Should have been Stomping Tantrum Smile. But does actually get the 2 shots, so they're playing fast and loose this game through. I think they're both kind of wanting to finish it up, right? We do reveal the band here, so not sure what Corey's doing, but again, he doesn't have a switch in, so he's just sacking, and he's not going to win that game. He's not going to win that one, you know. Knockoff comes in here. I do like staying in on Scarf, you know, Glade. It can't do anything too crazy to you immediately. And then gets his Volcanion burned because he's no longer a fire type. Funny. Turn 1 Terra. Sometimes doesn't work out the way you want it to. But rocks finally go up. It's really not going to do a whole lot. You put the rocks up to stop Ogerpon from having sturdy. You don't really put them up for any other reason. I mean, it's nice to have the chip. Don't get me wrong. You'll enjoy that every time Glade comes in for 6%. But I think that Corey's team it's supposed to be a little, you know, focused around the sun and having Raging Bolt and Roaring Moon around, and it's just everything's falling apart. It's certainly not over by any means. Don't get me wrong. But losing your best offensive sweepers is not fun. So, and Volcanon's not gonna be the one to do it. Well, it does still have Scald for Slowking, so Slowking can't really touch it yet. And then he reveals Terra Steel Levitate, you know, doing the funny tech. And Corey absolutely went for what I would assume is a body press there. But he's burned. Every single one of his guys is like burned at this point. You know, feel the burn or something. And that does way too much damage. But the Rocky Helmet is going to help, and he Prented a Roost there and, well, hits himself in confusion. So Matt getting some good luck his way to set in the, you know, secondary effects department. And Corey making a one-time switch, really attempting to get out of it, and he does. Actually gets away. He gets a really nice kill for his 50-50 there. And look at how much more damage that's going to do now that he doesn't resist Strange Steed. But gets another 20% confusion. Corey gets a crit. The burn is, wow, the crit burn is nice, but unfortunately not going to do a lot. Just too much damage on Slowking. So, Meowscarada should be able to clean this up pretty nicely. You get your little triple axles here in the snow. Not that the snow helps, but you're a nice type, and now your defense is boosted. Yippee. So, Roaring Moon will attempt to do the impossible, which is Dragon Dance. And he gets hit all 3 times. Yippee! So Matt takes up 2-1, sending Corey into losers. Fun set. And here is Game 3 of Winners Finals. So we're in the top 2, top 3 at this point. Matt versus me. You have seen both teams, so let's just jump into it. Oh my god, the Mets were only in like 1-5 at that point. So starting off strong, I'd start with Vaporeon, dodge a Magma Storm, Scald the Heatran, which will do a lot of damage actually. Not enough to two-shot all the time, but it could be a roll. So he's switching out. And I'm attempting to fish for a Scald Burn here, which I do get, which is more of a nice, you know... Now there's no Grassy Terrain healing this guy. It's convenient, right? So Terra Blast the Slowking doing like 3% more. He scalds me, accepting me to switch, but I'm okay with staying in because Vaporeon kind of is really good into this whole team. If Meowscarada, you know, if Meowscarada and Ogerpon go down, I think Vaporeon can wall the whole team. So here we go. We see the Protect here scouting out the nice grass move, and now we Intimidate just to, you know, and he U-turns on me, so I get the best of both worlds here. Like, he'll get switch advantage, but I'll take that chip. I taunt Weezing, which is probably going to get me Strange Steam, but he did attempt to go for Willow, so we're, you know, being nice about it. And now we have Registeel up against Heatran. I don't want to get burned here, and that can happen in a variety of ways, so just got to hope this body press doesn't get me burned, and I am okay with that. So Heatran dead, Weezing back, Iron Moth coming in. Iron Moth is a fantastic Weezing counter, just in general. They don't usually run moves for it, which is fun. And Sludge comes. I do have to burn my booster to avoid a Willow, but I think I'll be okay with that. Matt sends in Slowking to start attempting to set up a Future Sight lock again. But, you know, every day we stray further away from actually hitting damage buttons, and I attempt to get Registeel in here on a very, very, very scary Scald, and I get punished for it. Because, I mean, I'm going to get my rocks up, but, like, at what cost? Now burned Registeel's here? Well, he chillies out, but... And that'll break the Sturdy, which is good. But, like, hey, everybody, it's Glade. Yippee. So I go into Lando to attempt to Intimidate, but he's not Defiant because he has Sharpness, so we'll take it, right? Like, that would be a lot scarier if he was Defiant. But you don't even get near the damage numbers. In fact, you probably get just around the damage numbers of Sharpness by getting a Defiant boost, so yippee. Or, you know, Defiant Intimidate boost. So I'm back. It's Iron Moth back with the Fiery Dance. This is a good time for him to stay in, I'd say, and get a Sludge Wave off here, because he's going to leave and go into Gallade again, who's Scarfed up and has Psycho Cut. And I have to accept that I'm going to explode here. So, go into Clef, who can barely take a couple Psycho Cuts. We do get a Wish off. He decides to, instead of going for the crit chance, just go right into Weezing, go for Defog. I Moonblast just to, you know, chip him down a little bit more. Weezing's, you know, biggest issue. Trying to keep that thing healthy. So, Iron Moth versus Gallade. I don't know if this is a double by him, just, you know, for fun, but gets a nice double there. Psycho Cut doing a lot of damage. Lander's starting to break down a bit. He turned out expecting Weezing. I don't know why I keep going into Iron Moth here. I mean, obviously it's a dodge Willows, right? And there's the substitute. That's always fun to see. It's going to get scalded, but, like, whatever. Right? The combination of Sludge Wave and... Oh, he didn't even scald. Oh, he's attempting to lock later. I don't know about that one. Sludge Wave is going to do a lot of damage to... I switch. Oh, right. I'm protecting him for later because, you know, the Sacred Sword plus Psychic would have killed Moth. I definitely need that thing. But now I can get a free Rage Fist here, which does absolutely nothing. I don't know why I put in Annihilate. He's pretty much useless this match. At least until more than walls are broken down. So he tricks me. I'm tricked and burned. I put my rocks back up. Momentum is generating back toward Matt's team in this set. Especially with the ability to actually switch his moves up. He knocks off my lefties, and I think I just blast him here. So, you know, Glade being gone is really, really good for my team. Like, incredibly good, because Ogerpon is in, right? But it can't do everything to Annihilate, especially when it hits Trailblaze here. And he can attempt to Terra Rock to get the kill if he's lucky. But he goes for Swords Dance, and I don't know about that one. He's giving my health back. And I resist the Ivy Cudgel. He went for a crit play. That, like, okay, so that's just showing how good Ogerpon Cornerstone is. I think this guy was super underrated on the radar. As in, I don't recall him ever... he wasn't ranked very high on points, if I recall. But showing just how strong he is in a format where you have limited counterplay to just a 350 speed mod, I think, is really the main one. And almost got it. Like, if he got that, he could have gotten that if he just straight up got the kill there. I think he might have won the whole game. So, moving on to game 2. Play your routes, right? We'll switch it up to see it from my perspective again. Just, you know, doing it for me. Remembering the days. I get a good lead here with Landorus, but I don't want to take a triple axle, so I go into Reggie Steele anyways. Because while every hit a triple axle, you know, one of them could miss. For example, that one missed. And the second, if he only hit me twice, Landorus was still okay to stay in, right? The ice type would mean that I wouldn't kill with U-turn or earthquake. I apologize for the coffee in chat. He is defogging me, but I'm going to iron head him. So, playing a little fast and loose with Reggie still here. It's a little scary, but he's switching. He's trying to get switch momentum. I got my rocks up. I'm happy. Happy with my rocks up. You know that. So we protect out to see what type he's going to Terra into. Or not Terra, sorry, Protean into. And he does knock off my boots, which could be big for later, but I wasn't lefties anyway, so I'm like not too concerned about that. Cool Temple Puzzle is here, and it really isn't going to be happy with my Scald play here. Matt expecting me to protect, but I just went for Scald. I'm okay with the rocks going up that turn. We do have Slowking back, taking 9%. And I'm just staying here because this Slowking doesn't have any way to really break it. Like, he can't break me at all. In fact, he straight up doesn't have an option. So if I get the burn, that's going to help for possible endgame scenarios where I can just, you know, win. So it's nice having a water type beat the really silly water types out there. Like, Vaporeon just staying in here and beating bulky waters is fun to me. So like the 5th time we are going for Scald, we didn't get the burn on any of them, but you know what? We'll get the one where it matters, I'm sure, one of these days. So taking the future side attack, but back to full. Protecting just to scout the move again, so he is going for Flower Trick, making him a pure grass type. So if I want to go for Ice Beam here, I could get the kill. But we're going to, you know, hold off on that for a little bit. Intimidate. And he does go for Flower Trick, which doesn't, it does a lot of damage. You can see that it actually reaches the range of potentially 2-hit KOing me. But does not. Thank you. Very cool damage rolls. Back to Vaporeon. So Meowscarada out of dead. There's only one mon that can actually do it. That is this Ogerpon right here. And if I burn him with the 7th or 8th Scald I've thrown off this match, the game is over. And Matt does, I believe, forfeit right here. No, he is attempting to play it out. I do respect. You know, even though you're burned, you gotta at least try. I do protect here. He is forced to stay in or die either way. There's no... I did have Defog, but like he's not keeping a 1 HP alive. And Gallade comes in as the only guy left to, you know, even do anything, but not when I can sack Lando. And now with Ogerpon gone, Gallade stuck the way it is. He trained at low HP. Vaporeon get... it's just a bad day to be all these guys. So Vaporeon's coming back in. The Magma Storm would have trapped him, would have done quite a bit. Not enough though, but quite a bit. And Fairy type is here and missed the 2nd Magma Storm. I mean, hey, you can't be relying on Focus Miss all the time, but it's certainly not the good one. And Matt was extremely upset after this set, so we'll see what happens after that. But his team is very good. It will drop into losers, and it will absolutely beat up some people down there. So, speaking of losers, this is where the hopes and dreams are of our remaining contestants. Everybody is still in it. And I will say, I'm not saying anything about Matt's team. He built a very good team. In fact, I still think that at any point, if it's like the Ogerpon, it's like when I swept Ethan with Annihilate. If he got the Ogerpon sweep on me at any point in that game, it is just over kind of deal. So, you know, it was certainly not as unwinnable as it could have been. It was not great. It was definitely a losing matchup. There is no doubt about that. A losing matchup being in, like, it was hard to win. It wasn't impossible. It was definitely possible. And I don't want anyone thinking that I'm saying it was impossible. And you'll see when it comes down to, you know, future matches what is and isn't possible. I think everybody had a team that could beat everybody except for maybe Ernest Decory. I'm going to be real honest with that one. So let's get into losers. We got, you know, some of these games are going to be quick. We do have a lot of sets to go through still. And I'm starting to lose my voice, run out of drinks, etc., etc. So we got Ethan versus David coming in here. You saw all their teams, so let's just get into it. So David brings out the Duck. Actually a pretty cool guy to put up against, you know, Ghost Dragon first. Get a free Ice Beam off of that. It doesn't want to stay in. But then bringing in air balloon Sneasler on a stealth rock is crazy. That's a Terrakion. He's not gonna kill you because you're on a balloon. So it actually kind of works out. But then going for U-turn and taking Rocky Helmet Chip, kind of sad. Like, you can't really put Sneasler in until this Corviknight is down. And that's a problem for Ethan. That setup was nice and all, but it didn't get him anywhere. Like, you got to be careful of who's still around. Ursaluna Blood Moon is here to take 30 from an Ice Beam, which is really, really, really nothing. And unfortunately for David, this is not a Calm Mind Bear. Calm Mind Bear wins this game on the spot, but he was really a proponent of Blood Moon plus Moon Blast for some reason and Earth Power. Because I get it, you don't want Hyper Voice, you don't want Calm Mind, whatever. Like you don't want to miss the chance of you being unable to hit your normal type move or your coverage move. And he's AV, he's got to do all that job, right? But there is no move that you do have to take out Duck before you can do too much bear stuff. Then David proceeding to not Ernest. Everybody speak. Me speak. Ethan, all the E guys, taking out some of Corviknight's life for Sneasler. So saying I'd rather just chip down Corviknight instead of, doing anything else. Well, we do see Manaphy here go for a tail glow. Really, really scary situation to be in, especially because this Ogerpon Wellspring does not have a grass move. But Ethan's crazy. He went for a ×4, and we find out that actually Manaphy is faster than Ogerpon, so that is not a fast Ogerpon whatsoever. And Energy Ball is a 2-shot on Corviknight. So very, very, very scary Manaphy. Luckily for Ethan, or for David, do see that Manaphy, you do have a faster Dragapult, and you do probably have Vacuum Wave on the bear as the coverage. There you go. Absolutely saved him. We do like to see Vacuum Wave working out. But really, sadly for Ethan's sake, he terrored his Manaphy for no reason because it wasn't a Dragon move and it was Shadow Ball, which probably was a pretty good range for David to go for that. So Heavy Duty Boots are off on the fish. But the fish doesn't really care too much about that because it does have Regenerator, which it's going to try and abuse here. We're going to see if Ice Beam comes out. No, we still see Scarf Wish. So this is a pretty free Stealth Rock Spike turn, whatever you want to go for. I think I maybe would have gone for Spikes, actually. Mainly because nothing's weak to rocks anymore. And you would get more damage going for a Spike there. So just a future consideration on that one, Ethan, you go for a Spike that turn. Terrakion can do pretty much nothing to Garchomp, but he's expecting maybe that, yeah, Garchomp goes for EQ, gets a good Terra Flying here to get some damage off. But then goes for Close Combat on the fish, attempting, that would have gotten the kill on Garchomp. And it does get the kill on fish because Ethan doesn't even have a way to recover his HP right now. He would have had to regenerate out. But now the Terra's burnt on this guy. Let's see, does he go for Hypnosis? Now goes for Protect. Gonna get his Garchomp, trick the Scarf. And that's the problem. You have like your one-time answer to a thing. He's like, oh, I can trick Scarf the Espathra, but like if it fails, now what? He has to take it back in order to try and do it again. And it's funny because he gets the Ice Beam. It actually works out quite well. But unfortunately, doing all that technology lets Espathra get a free switch in now instead of the other way around. And now with the Calm Mind Speed Boost, like what do you do to this thing? It's just gonna stored power everybody. Even Protects to get a little extra boost here. You could go for Hypnosis, could go for Stored Power. It really depends on what he thinks the damage roll will be. Regardless, David is just going to switch into Scream Tail, and it does take 1, but it won't take 2 with the extra power of the Speed Boost. And we can see why some people clamor for a Stored Power ban. Or why a Espathra went to Ubers, JPEG. This guy really was a menace in the team builder, and I think that those of you who didn't have to experience it don't understand just how bad we had it in the other conference. This guy locks you out of things. But it is a funny little bird, eh? So, those who lost, just, it sucks. David really did bring only mono psychic move on him, though. So, like, if there was any dark type here, it would have auto shut it off. Unfortunately for David, he didn't have that option, so it became a much harder matchup, which you can call this a variation of the matchup moth then. So into game 2, David's going to have to think a lot more about how he's going to stop Espathra from getting too many boosts too quickly, right? And Foul Play here on Terrakion is not what you want to see if you are Ethan, because that means he is justified. And this Close Combat is going to hurt, but for some reason he just goes through the rocks. Doesn't pop the balloon yet. Knows that he has a lot of Corviknight answers, and Ethan's saying, I'm not even setting up. This is the right play to do, man. You're going to chip him away with Close Combat if you're going to stay in, right? You force Corviknight to roost, get Garchomp in for free. Garchomp's already pretty free to come in on this guy. Gets his rocks up early. And goes right into Duck. Download Duck. Just kidding. It's Trace. And that Draco is nowhere near enough damage. You will get a free switch in with whoever you like. In this case, Ogerpon. Again, really holding the team together on this power of this Ogerpon here. And unfortunately for David, he's going to need to use Knockoff a little more than Ivy Cudgel, I think. Like, I don't know why he even went for Ivy Cudgel that turn. Knockoff on Porygon 2 would have been really nice. Knockoff on anybody was really nice on this team, so. If it's Sneasler, it's Sneasler. You still got your Corviknight at 100. He's really letting... Oh my gosh, Terra Waters here. Wow. Good play, actually. So play rough, proving, you know, we saw this move earlier. I just forgot to point out it's the final move. He's really missing his grass move right now. I'll just say that. And, oh, doesn't kill, but he can't survive anymore. So, wow, Ethan's going to try to protect it, but he's at 11. So, no matter what happens, he's just, yeah, I don't know, man. But he'll get a Wish Off here at least. Does that bird know defog? I always forget in this gen. He does. Okay, so it's fine. Everything's fine. But it also means that while Fish is going to have a lot less damage on him, Garchomp's able to get all his HP back. So it's a mixed bag of that defog for sure. We'll see if it matters later. Rocks go back up, so now what? Ogerpon can't come back into the game anymore? Yeah. So David having to use a lot of time to attempt to get Ogerpon to play the game again. And here's one chance he'll have. The Ice Cube's going to do not a whole lot. And he is able to hang against even Thunderbolt thanks to having Roost, or Discharge in this case. So we see the defog, and I wonder if, you know, getting your Porygon 2 healthy or just, yeah, Duck coming in here is a nice thing to have. So Sneasler is going to come in, and these close combats are actually able to do 40 and 40, so this Corviknight is dead if he decides to stay in. And goes into Scream Tail, which is a really, really good option, actually. Like, yeah, you don't want to get Dire Clawed, sure. But, you wouldn't Dire Claw a Corviknight, right? Like, that's a big read. And reads, as everybody knows, is just a vibe. So, you can't say you're mad because you lost to a read. That's just gaming. That's just the style of game we play. But Alluring Voice kills, mainly because David missed a Draco, and I know that Draco had a range to kill because he wouldn't have sent it if it didn't, but I still think, like, which really sucks, by the way. I still think that, did he have an out after this? I'm going to look. Not really. He might have had Terrakion out still, but, like, this is the power of what Ethan's team was going for if it didn't run into me turn 1, was just this really hard to lock down spike stacking hyper offense mix. I don't even know how to call it right. But, you know, he got exactly what he needed. He got one lucky miss, and Manaphy just went crazy. Again, I don't think it would have killed Specs at 100, but it definitely would have broken it down to a better Revenge Killer, which would have been nice, and, like, definitely made it more winnable. So I do feel bad for David in this game, too. You know, you hate missing your best move like that. And I know he could have done better if he just... Like, if we all did this again, I'm sure he would have been able to hang a lot more. But that's just it. That's Mons. We move on. So we get JT versus Ernest in round 2. Let's get into it. I don't think that Ernest's team is actually that bad in this matchup. Having Moltres for low kicks is nice. Having Kingambit here is great. Finally, a game he can play. And Ursaluna on its own is just a monster of a bear. We're going to see here the foul play and the, you know, really good Kingambit switching to take both the foul play Future Sight. So that's fun. Unfortunately, Mandibuzz is going to get us all his HP back. And Kingambit would either need to be SDing right now or something else, right? But we do see the final move on Mandibuzz is Iron Defense, which is kind of insane. Meteor Beam Deontay has shown up. Also, like, we're seeing tech on both teams. We're going to see a lot more on Ernest, that's for sure. So Scorching Sands coming into here, getting a burn. Very lucky burn. We do like having Scorching Sands on our Moltres. In a playoff format, you gotta have your options locked. So, Bear is in. Greninja is so happy the Bear is here, especially if he has Ice Beam, right? And Bear is on that Terra ban list, unable to change his typing, so he is forced to switch. Probably rightfully so. A lot of switching going down here. JT playing a real regeneration or heavy game on his pivots here. You know, Roost on Mandibuzz, Regenerator on Sloping. Ernest actually has no longer any momentum, if I recall. I think every single piece of his momentum has been broken back. And in return, he hasn't taken too much yet, but Keldeo is a little bit low. The Trick Room is up, and Kingambit is here. Take a Gigaton Hammer, only doing 15%. It is sure nice to have a Gigaton Hammer answer out here, huh? And encoring, oh, but the bear is in, and he Facades doesn't kill. Wow. I guess he's having to read that, 50-50 on whether or not he switches into Mandibuzz that turn, but little surprised that he switched out. He did get it on the Trick Room turn though, which is nice. So that's actually a cool play, but you do take a lot of chip by doing that. So, and you go into Diancie on Greninja. It's not the safest time to get your trigger up, but he Terra Waters, so it is the safest time to get his Trick Room up. Let's go, Ernest. Now that is a good use of Terra right there. This is a great way to facilitate a couple guys coming around. Oh, but he Meteor Beams without having the Power Herb anymore. That's going to be scary. Let's see how much it does. 39, okay. Does he have... Can he Moonblast the rest of the way? Let's see. Oh, that's a very big crit. Oh, that's a really big crit. He definitely needed to just hit Moonblast that turn if he had it. Or Earth Power. In fact, he probably even has Earth Power on that DNC. It's a Trick Room set. Well, maybe not. He has Stealth Rock. So he lost a coverage move for something. And Slowking lives the Scorching Sands from Moltres, so he is completely fine. And now all of a sudden things get a lot scarier for Ernest. He doesn't have much help on this Keldeo to take a Water Absorb or an Ice Beam or Water Shuriken, and it won't be enough. He only has one last shot at this. He'll probably be able to take down Slowking, but he locked in the Secret Sword, which I don't think... Oh, with the burn will do enough. Oh, Baxcalibur, watch out, you're gonna get sorted. But Ice Shard will live. Thank you, Snow Defense. E-Speed cleans up just fine, and E-Speed's actually quite good to this team, unlike the previous team. Sorry, I had to answer a message real fast, but we are back with professional recording. Ernest now choosing to sack his Ursaring. I think that's a great time to sack it because it actually can't take a hit anymore from anybody. But everyone's breaking down. The only thing that's going to be left is, this here. You've got your Kingambit, who's really strong, but not into Iron Defense Mandibuzz. If he can't break that thing, he does switch out. Wow. The foul play would have killed him. Yeah, so this is a pretty cool Kingambit answer. I don't think I respected just how good this Kingambit answer was in the draft. It's a really stupid set for most teams. Not having a way to break down Skarmory or Corviknight, but he didn't need to fight either of them. Or he doesn't need to fight either of them yet. Doesn't need to fight Corviknight now. But regardless, it's a cool set, and it worked out quite well for him. Especially with Kingambit. Having a Kingambit answer was on everybody's thought process. We all knew that, outside of Corey, we all had to worry about it. And even then, Corey still has to worry about it, And we see E-Speed Dragonite being really sad now that he's not banded and Terra Normal and doing basically no damage. But it's a fun 50-50 here of Terra, Stellar, Greninja. By the way, whacking this guy Terra. I know it's because Protean Terra sucks, but still funny. I'm waiting for the day that Dragonite drops the Draco. But it sends a Roost Dragonite, which, hey, that's cool. So Mandibuzz is certainly doing the long live. Everyone say hi, Taylor Swift. And then Ernest does this thing where he Dragon Dances on a foul play Mon. That's not good. Don't let it be you. And I'm still waiting for foul play to get the Flame Body Brock. Yeah, we've been waiting a long time for that, I feel like. And thanks to his gameplay earlier with Dragonite, no longer being in let's have E-Speed. Oh, but that Dark Pulse didn't flinch, so he is dead. Ooh, this is anyone's game. Or by that I mean this should be Ernest's game. But he roosts here, just protecting himself. I do respect that. Yeah, and this foul play will not be doing enough. These flamethrowers will kill. It looks like JT is going to play it out, going to game 2. So Ernest is actually showing up, saying his team's got the sauce. If he gets enough Trick Rooms off, he certainly is a threat for this team. I think Ursaring is a very scary guy for JT. But we'll go into game 2. See how JT adapts. JT's a pretty good adapter in Mons. He usually takes a lot of the game 1 L's, but makes it through. And speaking of adapting, we do find out right off the bat that Keldeo's dead because this thing has Grass Knot. And that's an adaptation, right? That's saying, all right, I know you won't switch in any of your flying types into Greninja. I'm good to go. Poor Keldeo, like I said, he's just never going to get to play the game. Facade on Tink is awesome. So much damage. But by not wanting to take Gigaton Hammer on Ursaluna, which I respect, just going to Moltres. Does he U-turn? No, he Flamethrower is going to do a lot of damage. And imagine having a switching Kingambit to take on Greninja. That's how you know something's wrong, right? We'll see how many Water Shurikens he gets. He gets just 2. And Ernest goes for Sucker, trying to play around Water Shuriken, but I don't think he realizes that that Sucker would have failed anyways, because Water Shuriken would go first with priority, so oopsie, a little mistake there. So, what could have been a little extra advantage, we'll see if it matters later on. But Baxcalibur is in, this time he's not dead instantly, and that is going to be huge. We just see Ice Shard attempt to pick off Dragonite, and Earthquake, which doesn't kill Diancie. Oh, but Ernest, you gotta stop disrespecting these Oyumons! Except he didn't, because he just said, I'll just dodge Esco Crash, which I know that was attempting to maybe catch a switch-in, but it's like Moltres. It's a shame it missed. But no Trick Room, I think, is the biggest thing to pick up from this interaction, where JT stopped any Trick Rooms from happening. Ursaluna is not able to enjoy beating up the whole team now. And Dragonite is very low. Low Kicks is getting to play the game for once. And you'll see right here that he is more than getting playing the game. He is dealing 36, and then that knockoff coming right after. U-turn! Oh, he didn't even knock off! Soaking will take 100 from that. So we're getting really fast and loose with it. But without having, a whole lot of guys to deal with, that Moltres needs to stay alive at all costs, basically. Let's see, does he? Terra Normals? Why would he Terra Normal it? It's just gonna die to Rocky Helmet. Oh no, it doesn't have Rocky Helmet. What am I talking about? It's actually a really good Terra Normal, the more I think about it. It's cool. It's fun. Chicky Wing is here. Yeah, Ernest should be in a really good spot at this point. I don't remember how he throws it. Chat, he throws this. Just a heads up. Oh, that's how he throws it, right. He sacks his Moltres. Of all things. He needed to, keep that thing healthy at all costs, and he sacks it and now has no Mandibuzz answer. So, Sag. The game is over. Iron Defense Mandibuzz will clean this up, and I am going to skip these turns because that is all you need to know. The game was over as soon as Moltres died. So, good job by JT getting Moltres out of the way, keeping Low Kicks around for a little more gameplay. That thing is good. We do see Tink lead versus, for some reason, Goku lead. You don't see that every day. The Cell Rocks do go up. And now the biggest difference maker in the world, he loses his heavy-duty boots and rocks are up, and there is no spinner on this team. So Moltres is officially useless. He will have to Terra to win this game. And that's why Ernest realizes that. Terra Fairies and leaves. He can see the future! But Tinkaton is going to explode to a headlong rush, calling it out. No Tink is nice, but it's certainly not the biggest threat on this team. That guy is still coming. So Kingambit coming in here to take actually be a pretty decent wall to Greninja. I'm going to be honest, that's kind of his purpose right now. So good lock there. And I just wish that he switched. Oh, he does double switch. Oh, Ernest knows how to lock in. I'm telling you, he's a good Scarlet Violet player. Nans knows what he wants. It goes back to Kingambit though. Let's see. I don't know, man. Because now he has to stay in to take the Future Sight this turn. So let's see. Does he just go for Iron Head here? Yeah, he's just chipping away. So I like that. Right. And then goes into Terra Fairy. Moltres, a perfect counter to this foul play. So everything's actually kind of going Ernest's way right now. Now JT still has his best parts of his team alive. Everyone's at 100 or regenerating still. And Flamethrower's in on the bear switch, so that bear is getting dangerously low. Low Kicks, are you going to explode to this? Yeah, sacking Low Kicks is crazy. Imagine having to sack Low Kicks. Just to get the bear in. The bear out. And Ice Beam again. We're seeing a lot of Ice Beams here. Really just doesn't want to deal with Water Shuriken, I guess. Right into Diancie. I love these double switches. These are great double switches by him. But then he does it again. Why is he doing it again? Where's the Trick Room? Where's the Meteor Beam? I was right there. He had all the time in the world to do it. Really unfortunate crit on Ice Shard there. Not too much extra damage, but enough that it might matter, right? And Keldeo is really, really not that good this match. Like, it might be able to clean up a maybe Baxcalibur or something, but I don't know what Ernest was doing. He just didn't trigger him as Diancie. And now Baxcalibur is in the snow with a Dragon Dance, and I believe this game is over, chat. Seeing that Sucker Punch failed again, and Dragon Dances are continuing. You'll see that he didn't even need, like, you gotta be, I think Ernest just, in this set, kind of forgot that Sucker Punch loses to other priority if they're faster. So you really, really need to play around priority, and that's unfortunate, because the whole time he just had that Diancie play and the misplay on Sucker Punches, and it cost him the whole set. Like, and a one Moltres mistake, and it's like, dang, what could have been, right? So, would have liked to see more of Ernest's team, but JT is going to take him out with the big bad Bax. We're moving on. So a nice setup there by JT. And on the other side of losers, we have Corey versus Ethan. This game is funny. This game is silly. Pokemon is a fun and silly game for our friends. And we do see Will-O-Wisp coming out, so Lolamola is burned. I almost wonder if it would have been better just to put up hazards with Garchomp and go crazy, you know? So wishing he was fishing will be wishing for a long time now, thanks to Encore. And he's continuing to wish. And Corey's actually losing a lot of his Sun turns here, but I don't think he really minds. Traces the Drought does pretty much nothing. And Porygon 2 is now burned, so Corey is spreading out the burn that he's so much hated versus his set with Matt. You see Discharge coming in here, not going to paralyze Raikou Larp, Tongalong. It is too much damage, and now is the game over, chat? Because that's a pretty scary guy to be a +1/+1 right now. With the combination of Thunderclap, there isn't a lot that Ethan can do, thanks to having, you know, he needs to get Garchomp in, but he can't safely get in due to Dragon Pulse being spammed. And no Fairy on his team either, so has to sack this Duck. The Duck didn't have a way to, like, Toxic, didn't have any breaking moves. Goes into a spot there to hit Hypnosis, which is a pretty good way to force it out, but Corey sacking someone else to the sleep and getting the sun up at the same time is the perfect move. And now going right into Roaring Moon. Ethan, there's a Dark type. You can't do this. You have to switch out. But he switches out one turn too late and loses his Girl Boss. At least the Air Balloon is popped. But yeah, the combination of Ethan running into both Corviknight and Skarmory teams one after another makes that... and after a Sneasel or... after the Annihilate team having Covert Cloak and all that, like, that's a tough matchup for Sneasler. I don't think many other teams, I think a lot of other teams would have hated having to fight that. But not the two best Steel types in the tier that don't care about Dire Claw. So we got a little bit of hazard stacking going on. And we got another YouTube pause. Thanks, YouTube. We didn't have to wait that long this time. And wishing he was Fish. Check out that 64. That's unboosted, by the way. That's unprotosynthesis, uncalm-minded, not in the sun. He is staying in his lane. He dealt 64 to it. Let's go. And there's the point where Terra matters yet again. We all joked about it in the regular season. You know, I know it's haha, we made that joke many times, but like that Terra was huge there. It saved the Raging Bolt. Probably didn't need it to win the set, if I'm being real honest, but it does make things a lot easier, huh? And Ethan attempted to do the big sweep here, but little does he know that he is playing a game of 50-50s now. Except he's not, because he actually gets the switch out. And Manaphy, well, poor Manaphy. Wishing this was rain and not the sun, isn't he? And there's the Photosynthesis boost. And that Iron Head, now that he's a Fairy type, means that he will just kill him. Iron Head proving to be quite useful coverage for Corey's Roaring Moon today. And fishing for the Scald here. He needs the burn desperately. Does not get the burn because, of, you know, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. This is Spot that doesn't have a move to hit it. One Dark type and Ethan's team is over. Or half his game plan is over, I should say. And not only that, it's the best Dark type in the game outside of King Gambit. So, moving on to game 2. Starting off on game 2, we have more fish lead, but it's kind of a hard to use mon here. You see Rough Skin, Rocky Helmet coming in on Rillaboom, so that's not going to be good for Corey. These hazard stacks are coming in as they should have been earlier in game 1, in my opinion. Especially because there is no defog on this team. Hazard stacking Corey's team is his biggest issue, I'd say, of all things. But Garchomp can't do it all by himself. He is a little too weak, but this is a nice guy to get in. Even though the drought is up, it is going to force a Terra, or you can Earthquake it. Especially if it misses Wisp, that's actually going to go... That's kind of huge. Unfortunately, it doesn't go for it. Just accepting that he's going to lay up 3 layers of spikes and start spamming Dragon Tail, I do respect the commitment to the game plan. So here comes the Dragon Tail out. And who does he get? Well, he gets the worst guy he could have gotten. That's sad for Ethan. So he is going to attempt to, in my opinion, it looks like he's going to do an Alomola Fish, Wish, and Fish, where he goes right back into Garchomp. And Corey, knowing this, goes right into Tom DeLonge, because he's going to have a whole turn now to Calm Mind, Photosynthesis boost up, and actually a Spa Throw comes in early to force out Tom DeLonge, but that Wish is going to heal it all the way back up, and a Hypnosis is back on the table, which is kind of nice, actually. Except he missed, and that's what you get. 60% of the time, it misses every time. But that's tough. That's a tough one for Ethan, because now he doesn't actually have a way out. He lost his main counter, 2 low HP on Garchomp, 2 low HP on a Spot Throw, Terra Fairy again, the second time we've seen it this set, and you might as well just hit the L button now. He is fishing for a discharge, though, that he's turned into a Fairy type, so Ethan is now fishing for the Paralyzation to get Sneasler into a better spot here. But that's like sacking, what, another half his team to pull off this tech again? I'm not even sure Dire Claw kills. We're going to see, though. He has to play around Thunderclap, and he doesn't because, 50-50, so... Ethan seemed just a little too weak to set up supers that can ignore, a lot of the special setup supers. Kind of hurt this team a lot, especially ones with priority. So kind of the worst mod he could have asked for in Raging Bolt just brutalizes this team. And please understand, there wasn't a lot he could do. He brought a Spot Throw with no fairy coverage, and relying on a lot of high variance moves like Hypnosis and Dire Claw. So. And that was it. Tom DeLonge brutalizes Raging Bolt, wins yet again. Moving on. So we have our other side of losers now. We have Triple versus Hall. Each of them winning a game now. So we have Lokix versus Grim. Lokix is kind of ridiculously good in the Hall's team. I don't think there's a lot of answers to it. That's why JT thought the same thing. He just he turned out. And, Grim can't prankster Dark types on top of that. So Grim is really bad into Triple's team thanks to there being 2 Dark types. 3 Dark types. So while he does have Spirit Break to hit them, he's not going to be doing a whole lot of anything else. So. T-Spikes aren't even good either because of Slowking, and Slowking cannot die. So I will say this is probably a really hard matchup for Hall. But, Enamorous can do anything, and there isn't a lot of Covert Cloak, I assume, on this team. So I imagine this is once again another Knuckle Stat Gaming kind of situation. And Hall does probably need to get his hazards up or lose to Max Caliber, one of 2 things. And, well, there's one guy going. And we do see the Meteor Beam coming in here. Slowking Galar should take this just fine, but a Psychic Noise will do a decent amount back. He doesn't even have a heal move, but he can regenerate out. And I think Psychic Noise should probably block heal, but hey, we can't do anything about it. And now Hall makes a slight mistake here, locking into Meteor Beam again. Like, he's getting boost, which is really nice, but this Mew is really important. Having it take the Gigaton Hammer and, you could have just, having it take the Gigaton Hammer and the Future Sight when you could have just sacked Grimmsnarl instead to both of those, because you locked yourself in Meteor Beam, is definitely what I would think is a little bit of a mistake. Like, it's not one you want to do. Like, it's something that if you're really scared of Tink, you have to do, but I don't think he was that scared of Tink. Well, he is, but, like, he could always just Terra Knuckle Sack and be fine, is really what I'm getting at here. And there's the Salt Cure coming in. The Eviolite is gone, though, and now Knuckle Stack is way worse. The amount of knockoff on this team does significantly help. Good Salt Cure here by Hall. I do like that he Salt Cured again. because he definitely wasn't going to get time to hit recover. But a huge crit there changes everything, I'd say. Like, that changes that really puts the nail in the coffin of this team. But, oh, Goodra does live at 1. Funny Iron Head, super effective on Greninja. So we will take that. But that is too little too late, in my opinion. Both Enamorus and Knuckle Stack way too low HP to be of any use now. And we'll just get cleaned up by Ice Shard. And we can watch it happen live here. Live Ice Shard reaction. And JT honestly, pretty handily takes game 1. That didn't look like it was a fight at all. Whether or not that had anything to do with the teams, I think it was more just... I think this is really just a bad matchup for Hall. And he thinks that he needs to get his Knuckle Stack in there early to, you know, get the Rock Sub, get the Salt Cures going, and it is a good idea. But it's really important that this guy stays healthy, and now he's quite low. Ooh, and JT put his Rocks up at the cost of his Tinkaton's health. This is a lot of health coming off of Tink. But it's also way too much health coming off of Tentacruel just by spinning, right? Flip turns anyways, it's kind of brave, if you ask me. Grim is in against Slowking. Kind of funny. And he crunches, so he does have Crunch. I don't think we saw that yet. And Lokix now has become a fire type, hits first impression, and you're going to be like, oh, Spirit Break it, it'll die. It's good. Terra Fire is really good with the boots. For some reason he switches out, though. Oh, because he could get tricked, so that would be pretty funny. That's a really good switch by JT that turn. But here's Spirit Break on Mandibuzz doing literally nothing. But Hall, happy to sack his Grimmsnarl at this point. Getting irrelevant special defense drops. Switches to Enamorus at a good Roost turn. So safely gets it in. And Enamorus did not play the game enough in game 1. It really needs to be on the field dealing damage. It's his top tier pick for a reason. It needs to be here. It needs to be putting on the pressure. And speaking of putting on the pressure, here's Mandibuzz again. Ignoring everything about Grimmsnarl. You know, you turning on a rock. I think sacking Grim there would have been a good play. But obviously you don't know if he's going to U-turn or Iron Defense or whatever, so you got to, you know, just didn't win the read there. If you're Hall, you just didn't get that nice read. Gren back in, doing 36 with a Dark Pulse. That's a lot of damage. Earth Power on to Slowking is quite significant, but, you know, Hall's team not really able to handle. He probably needed to make a double switch there. He is doing it. He's up in Mons, but I wouldn't say he's up in advantage yet. Surprised that is Tentacruel. Oh, getting a knockoff. Okay, all right. Interesting. Sacking Tentacruel for a knockoff on Mandibuzz is not the worst play. Slowking Galar now taking 18 from a Moonblast, nowhere near enough. And the rock comes in. Oh, gets a good turn though. Wow, that's a whole turn in. But that's going to be a Baxcalibur getting a nice setup turn here. Salt Cure will significantly hamper it though. Let's see if it's Covert Cloak. It's not Covert Cloak, but it's also only taking 12, so he is fine with that. So Hall has to make like 12 double switches here to try and win this. That's hard. It's not going to happen. He just beat up through the Salt Cures, so. Goodra reloaded. Hall made a Terra there, and JT called him out, and I think that's really funny. He's like, oh, I'll Terra flying, like, you know. Hall said, no, don't worry about it. It's like, it looks like a really good read on JT's side, because it is. But he does have the advantage of knowing that Icicle Crash already kind of is neutral effective. It's not like it was unaffected, like, you know, not very effective or something. So it's like a 70-30 read where you can definitely make that read without thinking about it, and then look really cool when you get it. But what's also cool is this Mew just got poisoned, so now everything is over. But he does sack the Mandibuzz. Maybe not over. Maybe the chance. Namor's at 64, could maybe hit 3 Earth Powers. I mean, there is a Terra Fire bug out there. But Sludge Bomb is going to do way too much damage. And yeah, JT's team is just a little bit too good into Hall's team. At least for the 6 that he brought, I'd say. It was not a very good matchup for him. So Hall is out, JT is moving on. And we got the battle of the buddies here. We got Corey and JT both looking to get a win. Really hoping to... Corey looking to secure his spot here in top 3. Triple wanting to make his way through the losers bracket in a similar fashion, actually, if I recall. We only watched this a little bit ago, but it feels like it's been quite a while. And that Ice Beam's going to do extremely big damage to Skarman. I can't believe the Body Press back didn't even kill. That's because of the snow defense. And I think that's so funny. So there's the switch in Ninetales. Gren is crazy. That thing should not be in UU. I don't know how it's in UU in standard play. But Thermal Exchange comes in. Baxcalibur gets a really cool setup here, but, like, it's too early. He's sacking his best mon for no reason. Like, there's 6 guys that have priority on this team. You can't just bring that in on hits. So, for some reason, Corey Terra fires his Rillaboom. I don't remember why. I really don't remember why. Maybe just wanted it for later switch-ins on Slowking or something. Well, Baxcalibur being dead means there's only like 2 mons left that matter. And this is one of them, but he is... Ooh, boy, the Sun damage is way too much. Sun plus Burn, that is enough to kill. So JT losing his defensive core piece really early. Not seeing a lot of counterplay. And a beautiful sack by Corey there on Skarmory. So, getting his momentum back in Rillaboom. Taking all the Stealth Rock chip for whatever the Terrifier reason was. Still funny. Oh, I guess he wanted to resist Ice Shard. Maybe he thought he died to Ice Shard. That makes sense to me. I'm starting to have to think a little bit more now. Huge critical Thunderbolt. Oh, with the para. Yeah, no, we're moving on to game 3 or game 2. That's you don't want to see that. Goes for Water Shuriken, trying to play around, Thunderclap. But the problem is that Corey can hit Thunderclap here, guaranteed, and then just go into Thunderbolt. Like, there is literally zero reason for him to do anything else. As much as it's a cool tech, right? Like, unfortunately, Raging Bolt does it again. Bonk, 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 bonk. Fortunately for the fans, but unfortunately for JT, his cool plan of I'm going to hit Water Shuriken here to mix him up is, well, a 100-0 in Corey's favor. So really, really clean game 1 win. Got a little lucky with the burn and, the paralyzation, so shouldn't be as easy game 2. But JT's going to need to lock in if he's going to want to take these games. And starting off with low kicks for the first time, going to get a nice knockoff here on Skarm, but it's not really the best knockoff. Like, imagine if Skarm just body pressed you right there or something. That could have been a lot of damage. And Whirlwinds him out, and we see Gran hitting the field. Early game Gran stays in. Dark Pulse, that's going to kill. And the more Gran hits the field without having any issues, like, the scarier it is for Corey's team, right? Like, forcing the Terra Fairy there is actually really, really good for JT. Not having to deal with any Will-O-Wisp absorbing anymore. Or I should say, not Will-O-Wisp absorbing, but just in general. Maybe like a Flamethrower burn, right? I could come in now. It's a nice Terra type, though. Like, Terra Fairy Volcanion really is pretty good. Sludge Bomb will do a lot more damage to it now. That'll be nice. And then Corey does this, and I really, really question why he didn't just... I'm sorry, I'm going back to watch this one, right? Like, oh, Chilly Reception, great. I'm going to Healing Wish? Bro, you need that sun back up for later. You can't let that happen. Like, what was that? Like, just because you have the move doesn't mean you have to do it. Just send Baxcalibur, or just send this thing in now and hit Terra Blast. You would have scared it out. You didn't have to kill your Ninetales. So that threw me for a loop. I didn't know what was happening. I still don't know what was happening. I'd love to know. We do have Raging Bolt attempting to do the thing it does best, which is win the game. But he will not win the game because now Tinkaton is not paralyzed. So the biggest issue here of last game comes into play. And then we get a really good Terra by JT. You see the Terra Fairy actually really not helping out now with the Gigaton Hammer plus the Terra Water, meaning Tinkaton gets to actually do a lot more. And Corey's team is starting to lose a lot of momentum. A good U-turn, though, on Mandibuzz can help get some of that back. I say you just got to be dropping T-Bolts as Raging Bolt at this point. Don't worry about setup sweeping. Just drop the T-Bolt. For some reason, he Dragon Pulsed, maybe expecting Baxcalibur to come in early. Playing around that. But JT's the kind of guy to do slow U-turns instead of actually switching, so I don't know. In this case. Calm Mind is out. I wonder if he's going to Thunderclap here. Like, he's getting so much leftovers recover. Yeah, he does Thunderclap, and he does Encore. So, yeah. And Rillaboom comes in on a Gigaton Hammer. Oh, he does not. He knocked off. Oh, that's a brave knockoff. He goes for knockoff, even though he's locked in the Thunderclap. I think that's pretty. That's locking in. Speaking of knockoff, we got a knockoff here doing 8%, no longer banded. A nice U-turn chip back into Raging Bolt. Mandibuzz is really giving up too much momentum. Yeah, JTS needs to switch him out with the U-turn. That's how you do it. And Icicle Crash 100% kills. Forced to make the save here. You can see how good Baxcalibur is into Corey's team, and if it isn't just sacked right at the beginning of the game, how scary it can be. Oh, I sure do love water going down the wrong pipe mid-talk. Some of that almost got, I'm sure got caught on the mic, but I hit the mute button at some point. Anyways, what happened is Baxcalibur just swept. Just look at that. Turns out he's really good, right? Really, really, really good. Especially when paired with the best teammate support he can do. So, on to Game 3, Corey's going to need to adapt and maybe make sure that Sun can come back at some point for Game 3. Oh, almost got to put that thing dark mode. A lot nicer. I really apologize to everyone's earphones and headphones for the cough. I really think I maybe it was only like one that got in, but I'm so sorry. Anyways, Bax is just coming in, so JT not learning his lesson, saying, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it first. I'm going to get the flinch. I'm going to do it. But X of the Snow can actually live multiple body presses, which is pretty nice. And he also gets a Willow. I don't remember. I didn't see this. It was turn 1. I was probably still drinking water or whatever. Got the Willow on Slowking, which is a brave move to go for when you have a Baxcalibur around. But Skarmory goes down, and that's bad. Skarmory's been going down to Greninja all the time because Corey doesn't have a good switch in. Like, he doesn't have Protect to make the read on Greninja, so he has to. He's playing it safe and just losing the Skarmory, which is unfortunate. And I do realize I'm watching from the wrong side, so let's go back to Corey's viewpoint. And the strange steam there, or the steam eruptions, pretty good actually. Once again, he Terra Fairies to avoid the Grass Knot. So much damage. But it doesn't even kill. The Drought comes in, and the Grass Knot again. Like, I don't know, actually, I'm not entirely sure why he hasn't just been going Ninetales the whole time against Greninja. Ice Beam, Grass Knot. Dark Pulse shouldn't be a 2-hit KO, it might be. I would really need to go check, right? But I feel like it's a good play to go for. But that's what Greninja does best. He really does rip the holes through the team in draft. But Tongolong gets in, and Ninetales is still alive, most importantly. We'll be able to set up the Sun. Has more than enough HP. You see Thunderbolt doing ridiculous damage. And now there's no more hail. So no more snow. Really nice to see. Baxcalibur can come in, and JT's insane. He loses the whole game here if he doesn't flinch that Icicle Crash. And I don't think people realize how lucky we are that Corey's team didn't just keep going through bracket right there. Sensitive Ninetales 1. No, he does the Healing Wish again. No, the Sun's not up. But he does get Volcanion in, so he does have one more chance. So that Healing Wish I do like. But man, it is really sad to see the whole game go by on a 30% flinch chance on Icicle Crash. Because, Corey really looking to win a season. Would have been nice. But rocks go up. Those late game rocks are going to be quite convenient, I'll say that. And with low kicks alive, and Baxcalibur still at full HP, not a lot can really come in safely. Especially not Roaring Moon. Roaring Moon's dead weight right now. Like, complete dead weight on this team. Maybe should have even just led Roaring Moon just to have it die. Just so it can hit a big knockoff before it goes, right? But Tinkaton comes in, and it's going to Tinkaton hammer way too much damage to Rillaboom. That's pretty good. He's got to turn out here, right? Oh, he keeps drain punching. I don't know. That's a lack of momentum, although it is at, you're getting life points for it. Oh no, Raging Bolt can't live that. U-turn he can. Oh my goodness. Oh, you have to just sack it at this point. It's too low. And with Raging Bolt gone, I actually don't think there's an answer anymore on this team for a couple guys. Terra Blast will kill backs. JT saying, I've done my job. Raging Bolt is dead. He's not needed. And while that may seem questionable, we're going to see. I think Tinkaton here will just kill somebody. Bonk. 54. So brick by brick break, he will sack his Roaring Moon for Tink. And now Lokix is kind of, well, unstoppable. Because that U-turn is going to do way too much. And even if you Terra Fairy Blast here on Mandibuzz, which does a lot of damage, you're not going to take, you know, you're bringing it down to the end here. He stays in, now no longer resists the Ice Beam. So the game is over. Rillaboom will hit Grassy Glide and get a kill. But that's it. Like, no Terra Fire anymore on him. So while Corey did play a good game, he got flinched once and just doesn't get the win this time. So we'll have to wait another season. Triple playing his like losers game bracket up to this point is really, really, really close games. But he's clutching it out. He's making big reads on some of them too. Like, it's lovely to watch. But I also really like. It's also almost a little disrespectful how aggressive he played some of these plays, to the point where it was like, you know, oh, he really shouldn't have got away with it, kind of deal. And now you might be wondering, why are we already facing me versus Triple? Well, losers finals match never happened. Matt forfeited. He did not want to play, which is a little bit of a shame. I mean, it's nice for this PR because we're already at 2 hours and you only got this one set left to play. But I was very disappointed at the time. I felt like it was a little bit like we go through a whole season and then you just forfeit your playoff spot. Like, why not just not go into playoffs at that point? But obviously he didn't feel he could win against me and said, JT, you can go do it instead. And that's what happened. So let's go watch. We'll be watching from my point of view just because, you know, I'm commentating here. And this is a great set. JT's team is really, really good at healing. And my team isn't the best at offense. So my team kind of relies around, you know, being that bulky team as well, but only having Annihilate really to step in and do the job. So we both put our rocks up. And he has Knock, and I actually don't have Knock on my team, and that's going to prove to be a vital difference here. I know there's a whole video about it that was just posted today about is Knockoff broken? No, I had to deal with Ethan's Espada running Stored Power. I needed all the moves I could get on my Clefairy, you know. That's just the way I draft playoffs sometimes, but we're slowly chipping down Tink here. That's good for me. And he gets his first knockoff of the match here. And I'm happy enough because this is, you know, a pretty good guy, but not, you know, don't like Tink. He can encore my guys, and I don't want that later. But Mandibuzz actually walls Landorus really, really hard unless I Terra him, so I got to think about that in the future. Foul Play comes in. Clefable is fine with that. So no knockoff on my team. I am going to wish here. Get some life points back on Landorus, which is fantastic because Landorus will take this Gigaton Hammer, no problem. He actually gets crit by knockoff, which doesn't matter because he's already knocked off. So I think I should U-turn again here if I did. Nope. I'm still making him at least play for it, you know? And Registeel comes back in to get U-turned on. So a lot of U-turn gaming here. Kind of wish I had Corey's team right now. And now I'm going to be disrespectful like JT. I'm going to Iron Head this thing over and over again because it doesn't have slack off and its only recovery is to switch out. So you know what? Switch out. But Lokix is in. That's a really good guy. He gets a nice little knockoff here if he wants to. So I have to go into Landorus to intimidate that and take a knockoff. So a free U-turn on my end here. We'll do a decent amount of damage to Tinkaton. 5, you know, 5 is... I take more to myself, though. I forgot I don't have Nago. So, Annihilate is in. He tries to encore me, but I'm actually, like, slower, which is funny. But, like, you can see how much damage Tinkaton's doing to my guys. And just the power of that Rocky Helmet really put in way too much work. I sacked Annihilate here for basically no result. Lando's back in, and like these guys are way too low and don't have any wishes anymore, and like they're, you know, it's a bad time. Bad time being me. No hazard removal, no hazard removal, no knockoff. We will bring them next time. So Iron Defense comes in on Registeel, and I'm attempting to win the game here because now there's no more, you know, no more encore. I can Iron Defense as much as I want, but so can he. And his Mandibuzz has Iron Defense, and it's faster. So now we're just sitting here playing the Iron Defense Wars, and I don't have my lefties anymore, and he Terra Poison, so I will lose this if I am not careful. Granted, he can't touch me, which is, like, funny. But I could also just go into Clefable to take, you know, pretty much anything. Iron Defense was really just for anti-King Gambit strats. Doesn't actually do him anything. Clefable, once again, will pull off a Wish, and I won't be able to pass this to who I want it to, so I'm going to sack Landers, and I thought I could then pull the Wish into Annihilate. But that's not how that works, so I learned today that I should have just gone to Annihilate, but I would have been just fine. That actually might have gotten me the whole game win there if I just got Annihilate up one more time, right? But now my team's offense is broken. I only have one guy left that can even do anything, and that is Iron Moth here. So we're attempting to sub up on a Foul Planet, and it actually breaks my sub, which I did not expect to see. So I Terra Ground, Terra Blast to get rid of the Mandibuzz, and now, well, that's the response he should do anytime you see a Terra Ground, Terra Blast. He DDs up knowing that I can't hit him. And the Icicle crashes, does 41, and I get flinched. So I'll protect to, you know, regain my leftovers at least. And I'm just going to have to do a lot of Wish stalling here to try and get around this. He goes into Slowking Galar, who has now recovered all his HP, and has Sludge Bomb to try and beat this Clefable. So he shows Future Sight, and that's fine by me, because we're going to Calm Mind up, and I'm just not going to get poisoned, right? Nope, I'm going to get crit. So while my team probably didn't have enough gas in the tank for this, it certainly would have done a lot better if it, you know, if that Clefable was still at +1. I think I might have been able to hang on. But now it's going to get broken apart too easily. I actually can't believe this team's any good at all when I look at the JT's team, but that's just life. We're going for Iron Head Flinches again on this guy. He gets it. He's extremely disrespectful. I'm going to Body Press here, I think. Finishes off Low Kick Switch. A prediction on that one. So we're going to do it again. It's rude. I deserve getting Chilly Reception for that, but it's all he can do. So the Dragon Dance comes in, and I just have to Iron Defense. I actually think that this is a fine situation for me to be in, thanks to having Iron Defense Body Press. Should be able to beat DD backs. And it does quite comfortably, so like I'm not quite sure why Greninja didn't come in. Now Vaporeon is here to eat the Flamethrower. I kind of want to get burned, but I don't get burned. So he Chillies out into Greninja, which is a fun guy to go into. And this is a risky switch by me. And he calls it, he knows his Dark Pulse is going to kill, and I wasn't sure if it would, I think. So I kind of waste a Wish there. So now it's going to come down to whether or not Slowking is going to get the Future Sight Sludge Bomb combination, which he will get. Bush is kind of fishing for 30% right now. So Protect here to stall the Grass Knot, and it will put him in Protein Grass Knot, which is going to deal a lot more damage than I would want, but I do have Ice Beam, so if I can live one, I might be able to pull it out. Or I don't have Ice Beam, I forgot. I had Terra Blast. I'm Terra Poison, Terra Blast. I remember bringing that for potential David strats in case he ran Ogerpon Water and Terra'd or whatever. Even if he didn't Terra, just for like grass types, it was not my greatest play. I should have just had Ice Beam. But oh well. This team was a little too Terra reliant. We'll go into game 2. See if anything changes here. So Lokix comes in and U-turn instead of knocks off, which is pretty interesting to me. He doesn't want to get scalded early on. I can respect that. But we do get the first Scald Burn on Slowking Galar, which is going to help quite a bit. I'm going to do the thing again where I don't care about Slowking Galar. I'm just going to sit here and just hope I don't get crit poisoned again. Or poisoned at all in this case. So he's out of there. I got my Wish up. Baxcalibur is going to come in. Quite a scary guy. Especially because now he's going to start Dragon Dancing. And I just Terra Blast to do 33 on a crit, which is a big crit. But I wanted this guy healthy because I'm like, I can just go into Clef at some point. I'll be okay. Especially after passing a Wish to it here. It's like he Dragon Danced, which is a cool play because if he gets the crit at any point, or the flinch or anything, he can just win the game on the spot. So Moonblast comes in, does 14 damage. Tinkaton, real problem on. I realize I probably need to put Vaporeon in against Tink, which is a sad thing to say. Yeah, I should have Scalded. I don't like me going for Wish there. I know it's needed, but he doesn't really have anything on his team that can beat this. It's kind of funny. Vaporeon really, really strong. But he can see the future. It is the future that he can see. And he's out of there. So Tink is back in. Tink has Encore potential again. Encore again, really good move. Dusiki gets on Hammer, not doing enough HP. I Protect here to block just a single turn of Encore. You know, you got to PP stall the 8 PP on Encore. If it comes down to a long game like this. And I can Lando it, which is like kind of cool, but also like kind of useless. Because Mandibuzz will just come in and like, if I could have knocked off Mandibuzz this whole time, it would have been nice. I do Taunt though, which is crazy. He actually Terra Fairy'd, which is insane. I don't think that's a good play at all. Because now my Iron Heads are going to do way too much damage, right? And even then, I can just start Iron Defensing instead. Which I do, which means I have to deal with another Encore loop. Yippee, looping. The combination of Landorus not having heavy-duty boots thanks to having you know, Rocky Helmet for other teams is also coming in effect here, too. Let me make sure that the music's still going. Okay, we're still going. So Vaporeon getting in, and just like the Splash Boat, it's 32 of you can ride the ride at any time you want. So we are going to be here for another 32 turns. I forgot this whole Grand Finals is so long. So we're blocking out the Dark Pulse here. Clefable can come in and take a Dark Pulse. Kind of okay. It's not meant to, but it's, you know, the natural fairy typing does come in. It's like naturally curly hair. It is nice. So we Protect here on the knockoff because we need to make sure that we don't lose our lefties on Clefable. Otherwise, we're really bad versus backs. And we see that Landorus is just starting to get a little too weak. All of the wish passing shenanigans is getting locked out by knockoff at the moment. All my guys are starting to fall around 50%. They don't have Regenerator to get in and out of places. So we wish again on a Future Sight turn. And I passed the Lando because I want his HP back. And I should be able to take a Sludge Bomb. As long as I don't get poisoned, everything's okay. We're back in the game. So you turn out there, go into Registeel, who can take both anything the Slowking throws at it, plus, you know, Future Sight. But he chillies out, goes back, and goes into Low Kicks, which I don't know if that was the right time to go into him. Granted, he is looking for a knockoff, but it's going to take some chip for that. Sucker Punch isn't enough. We Earthquake here, expecting, I don't know what I was expecting if I'm being honest. And he chips, tries to, you know, chip me out later now with rocks, so Landorus is officially dead. So that's officially one guy done. Finally on turn 40, somebody will die. And I Body Press Tinkaton, finally doing enough to take him out with the combination of, you know, Body Press. But I still don't want to lose my lefties. I think that's a real important look for later. So instead of, you know, losing lefties, I'm just taking all this chip on Iron Moth instead. Which for some reason I think Triple realizes he's good, he can sack it. But now Quark Drived Up, it was weird. I had to decide between, like, you know, oh, is he only going to hit 2 Water Shurikens and I'm okay, or like, am I going to go into Vaporeon to get my health back? Like, don't want to lose all these boosts for that. No, I did at the time. So if there was any knockoff whatsoever from my team, I think JT's team is in a much worse spot. But the fact that he doesn't have to worry about switching at all is a pretty good one. So now I take the chance, without Encore being a thing, I now get the opportunity to start Iron Defensing up. And this Body Press is going to do a decent chunk to Mandibuzz. He's not going to be able to do it forever. I don't know why you foul played that turn, instead of just roosting your Iron Defensing, but maybe he's just trying to get somebody in safely. No, it's Slowking again. But Slowking taking 44 now from Iron Head and getting flinched, so really bad luck on that one. Does he happen again? No, it does not. He has Flamethrower this whole time. He hasn't been doing it, pulling it off. I think JT got a little restless this game, because he could have kept locking me out if he wanted to, you know? Forcing me to make all these switches. But now that it comes in, I realize that's a pretty good answer to, you know, Greninja, especially if he locks in the Dark Pulse. In fact, probably if he locks in any move. So now I know Annihilate's purpose. But he knows if he just doesn't Terra Fairy his Slowking, I can't beat that thing. Not easily, at least. So he's just knockoff spamming, getting backs in for a DD potential. You know, putting me into 54% is a pretty good number, actually. That's quite scary. But misses the Icicle Crash, which could have actually won him the whole game, which is really funny to think about. Is at 1 HP. Goes for the second one. Well, when I say win him the game, he did need to get a DD off, so the fact that he didn't Dragon Dance meant Iron Moth would have just finished it, but... yeah, so he made a bad Terra, and then got a little greedy, I'm going to call it. I'm not even going to call it greedy. He just got a little impatient. And I think he'll learn from that game. So Flamethrower comes in early on, attempting to just, you know, take me out early. I go quickly into Iron Moth, which is pretty crazy. I'm not sure he's able to do anything yet. He goes for Earthquake. That would have killed Iron Moth for sure. I think that Iron Moth is Terra Ground, though, so maybe now it's good Terra Ground usage. Maybe I should have done that turn. So Tink is a scary, scary guy, and we're going to take a lot of damage from this. Except we don't, because he puts up rocks. And there's a Terra Water Tink to take the Fiery Dance. Just like it was done to Corey. Bonk. King's on Hammer moment. But now I have a pretty safe Sludge Wave, so yeah. No Steel type for Sludge Wave anymore. I mean, yeah, this will take no damage from it, sure. But Tink's pretty low already, which is nice. And a Poison on Vaporeon, the first time he's gotten a Sludge Bomb Poison, and that is a drastic change of pace. That means this game's going to speed up significantly. The Future Sight does come in, Steely Divers does take both. And I should be going for Iron Defense here and then just start spamming Body Press. But there is a Slowking with so much health still that it's really not going to do it. But he does go into Tinkaton anyways, so. Just says I'd rather have the Rocky Helmet chip. If this thing had rest, it'd be a lot different. So Annihilate comes in. This is the first time I think I've sent him in against this guy. I start bulking up, which is not the best idea I've had, I'll be honest. I think at this point I was getting nervous. So I Drain Punch on this, and I get Foul Played plus Future Sighted, and guess who's going to explode? Pew! It's him. I'll switch him out, though. He does have one more shot at winning the game, or, you know, getting passed off a Wish would really be good for him, but well, you have to wait for these times. I sent in Registeel probably into a Flamethrower if he's smart, but he Future Sights. I could have sent an Annihilate. So here's the Iron Defense, which is a really bad Iron Defense in retrospective, right? Because now he's just spamming Flamethrower. I can't do anything to that. Like this, I think he figured out, like this game, he figured out he could just spam Flamethrower. There's no reason for him to be switching out versus Registeel, even if he gets his low HP, right? At this point, I'm sacking Registeel to the Future Sight. He could have even gotten a free Dragon Dance there. I'm surprised he didn't. And now, I'm going Terra Icelanders to, 1, attempt to stop a Max Caliber, and 2, get a defense boost, but it's not going to be enough. That guy is built like a truck, dude. So Ape comes in, eats the Earthquake, and then I cycle the Intimidate back on even at the cost, I think? No, I go into Clef. Okay. He goes for Icicle Crash, gets a flinch, and now we're moving on to set 2 because of that. Without the flinch, there might have been a set to happen still, but it wouldn't have been very long until probably it also would have gotten broken down by Mandibuzz. So he Dragon Dances again. I die to Toxic. I do get Clefable though, the Protect here, which is nice. And if he gets one more flinch, though, this is over. I am locking myself into a really, really tough situation here. I mean, he could miss. It is Icicle Crash, you know? I only need to hit off 1 Moonblast, so... we decided to go for it here. 50% is decent. But we did lose about half our team attempting to do that, so... and we spent the Terra. And I'm not sure why I protected here. Like, I know Sludge Bomb can kill, but JT's hit Future Sight every time he's started, so... Not the best use of my time. Maybe should have passed off a wish instead. I get a cool little fire dance boost just as a treat. And now we have run out of gas, and Landorus, even though he does have Terra Blast, Terra Ice, might be able to be okay, but Low Kicks is now in control. Probably should have made the read there, looking more closely at it. Whew, I'm very close to losing my voice, so big chug of water. And there's the Sludge Bomb. That's the scary part right here, is while we do have Calm Mind, we do have to be very careful of the poison. And there's the Wish recovery in, and he still has his Terra, if I recall correctly. He hasn't used it yet. Oh, he used it on Tank in this game. So right now he is just hitting his strongest move into me, really. And this game's going to come down to whether or not Clef gets poisoned. And there's the U-turn. Get protected on. We see the Wish coming here. A nice Wish Calm Mind turn. Or crit is really the better word. We don't want to get crit. Poison may be able to do it, but crit we would not be able to do it. So Sludge Bomb comes in, and there's a 30% poison. And without my leftovers, now I can't Wish Protect too reliably. There's just too much chip coming in. We're going to see here a Future Sight lock in here and do significant damage on the next turn. Sludge Bomb, Future Sight, Poison, all that jazz. So, kind of forced to protect on this turn. He chilly, so he's locked in. He knew when it was time to get out. That first impression does way too much damage, so trading Low Kicks for that is definitely worth. And we are moving on to set 2. I will skip ahead. Greninja will hit Ice Beam. Or no, he won't. He'll hit Dark Pulse on. We can watch that. Boom. Dark Pulse. So JT taking it, they're resetting the finals here, so last few games of the season. And Low Kick starts off the match. Actually just hit a U-turn again for some reason. Still scared of the Scald. I think we kind of accepted these are our locks. I attempt a Terra Poison here on Vaporeon, which I'm like, maybe it'll work out. You know, I'm just trying to do something to shake off how I feel like I can't really break it yet. But the Future Sight isn't going to help me, so I have to get out of there. Dodging one brick, but getting hit by another. So he's going to Wish here. Wishing he was fishing. He puts up his rocks because, again, I can't touch him. A lot of guys on this team don't care about fairies too much, at least defensively. Like, there are definitely 4 dark types, don't get me wrong, but both of the fairy types are extremely good at dealing with mine, so I don't have, like, an Enamorus with Earth Power, for example, which is not a great option in this one either, but I'm just going to use it as the one that came to my head. We got Vaporeon out against Baxcalibur again. The Terra will also be nice for, hitting him, but then Protect apparently doesn't protect from the Future Sight that turn, and it crit me. So with Vaporeon down, this game's going to go really fast yet again. We see the power of Back Snow doing what it has done to everybody else in bracket so far. Just kind of eat their defensive cores alive. And Aditi here is a little bit greedy. Goes for Icicle Crash. Does he get the flinch? Does not. So I will get a Drain Punch, but it's not enough to get Baxcalibur. Just a bad damage roll. But slightly boosted Annihilate. Maybe that'll come in clutch at some point, you know? And JT just saying, I'm going to rip this team apart. I don't know why he hasn't just been sweeping me with Baxcalibur this whole time. I'll give you a hint. It's Clefable, but, let's pretend we don't know why. So he can see the future, but... Can you see me doing 33%? Ooh, it's a little bit more. He goes into Grind. I hope I hit Sludge Wave here like a boss. Now I hit Fire Dance, which is still a lot of damage. Pretty cool. Ape is a funny switch in here because I don't know if he can actually take the Dark Pulse. And he Terra Stellars, and once again, why can he Terra? Why can this guy Terra? Oh, no, that's alright. It was a cool Terra Stellar moment. Got to see it work out. And now my team is brought to pieces. There's actually not a lot that can save me. I've burned my Terra, Solandris, and Clefable. While they are a pretty good core, they don't have enough damage in them. At least with these sets. So I taunt Mandibuzz, and kind of forgetting that I'm faster, I Earthquake there, expecting a switch. He did switch, but he was too slow. So we're locking in for the next game, because this game is over. That ice beam does 37? Yo! I remember a lot of people complaining about Double Wish throughout the season. And I'm just going to say, I want you to look at this set and see it's not, it's not too hard to beat it when you've got really, really good pivots. really, really good locks. So, JT's proving that it is not unbeatable. Although we've had this discussion in the chat for sure. And I'm on my last game here on my back foot, just, doing what I can do. I know he's going to future set, so I get the sub up. But this is quite a aggressive use of Iron Moth. Granted, he can't break the sub. So, he could have tried to break it here, and then I would have died at future set. I'm actually a little surprised he didn't. Would have been a pretty good use of his time. And the Baxcalibur doing absolutely nothing here. Going to Ape to take a hit, which is going to help me get a Rage Fist boost. That's nice. We do Drain Punch Mandibuzz, get a little bit of our life points back. And that's a pretty good Mandibuzz running Iron Defense is a pretty good answer too. And I'm realizing that I really don't even need to get Rocks up, but I still put them up anyways, just in case. Like, it's really not helping. I really should be spamming Body Press into Tank more often. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to trade Tank for Registeel, and it's a scary proposition. But someone's got to take this guy out. Maybe I'll Wish Pass to him later in the match, So Gigadon hammers Sasuke, and wow, that's so much damage. And now I'm forced to switch because I think that knockoff might have actually killed. So Tinkaton is taking out 2 mons for the price of 1. That's sad to see if you're me. And honestly 3 if you take the fact that, Iron Moth's going to take all that chip now. So a lot of Rocks damage coming in. How you turn out? Should be able to get Clef in to do a nice little wish here. And all this time I'm thinking, man, if I was just Terra Poison Clef or something, or Terra Steel Clef, that's what it is. Like standard Clefable, I would have been in for a good time. Fiery Dance, wow, I don't even go for the sub? Crazy. So now someone's going to explode the Baxcalibur. It might be me. I'll go for Sludge Wave, do a ton of damage. I'd like to see that. I still have my Terra too. I wonder if I could have just he would have exploded to the future sight regardless. The Iron Moth being dead means this team has only 1 guy left, and that is Annihilate. And if it goes down, this game will end. So here I do, sending it in right now, right? And he actually hit Sludge Bomb for the first time. So that's the game. Not that I had much of a choice there, right? Sludge Bomb kills Clefable anyways. And slow U-turns, proving to be the death of Landorus T right now. So I'm still going to try keeping, a Wish Pass to it. But now I'm going to do the funny, what if I just don't get poisoned, right? But, hey, everybody say hi, Low Kicks. Hi, Low Kicks. So we protect the stall at that first impression for sure. That is his most dangerous move. And he does have to go for U-turn to hit me, which is funny. But then he Terra Fires, and I go, oh, he doesn't have to go for U-turn anymore. So Terra Dark Clefable is kind of good, but we can't safely pass Landorus a Wish, so it's kind of in a tough spot. And now he gets a free Ice Shard if he wants to, so I have to go to Vaporeon. Who should be able to take out this Baxcalibur, Even with a Dragon Dance, it's not too scary. Even if 2, it's not too scary. Although it is going to really chip me down, so maybe I should just hit 2 Terra Blasts, right? Oh, but it is scary because he crit me! Ah, I forgot about that crit. JT getting all the good luck he needs now. We do protect the scout out what he's going for, which will be Ice Beam in this case. Not that I have an answer for that. I do have to sack this Vaporeon thanks to the crit. So, one last call, curtain call for Clefable. And JT's just willing to break it down. And he broke it down so much that I got frozen, and I said, whoa, hold on. I do Moonblast the switch in here, which is a great read, except he's a fire type. So, how good could it have been? I think my reads got a little too, too late at the end here. And now we have a solo Clefable, just praying it can hang on, and, well, it won't. Spoiler alert. There is no game after this one, as you can see. And a little insult to injury, we do get poisoned by the first Sludge Bomb. So, JT ends up clutching out the last game of the series here in a pretty fun 4-1 Grand Finals that we played at for 3 hours. It was a long set. I know we watched it all here, but there was a lot to think about during those sets. So good job to him. Congratulations on his victory this season. Right before he was not really able to play anymore either. So I'll move this over here. You can't see the rankings, but don't worry. You saw the replay, so if you were watching, you know. We do have the stats here of round 1 coming in. And we do have the winners round 2, winners semifinals here, into losers round 1, losers round 2, losers round 3, the skipped round 4, and finals and resets. So it was a fun set. I think everyone built some pretty good teams. The pastes are over in this document. Right over here to the right here, there are the Poke Pastes and the rankings. Can't really... I guess I can try and zoom out a little bit and see if they fit on the screen here. A little bit more, so you can kind of see that now. Right here. You can take a look at those teams if you want. I probably should have looked at them before doing this PR, but that's okay. Just wanted to get it out of the way, so thank you everybody who played in this season. Thank you everyone who enjoyed and watched. I know it was unique, and we certainly had our fair share of controversies. At the very least, we'll call it that. But yeah, so with this done and the Sapa PL done, we're all caught up on PRs as far as I know. And I just want to say I will see you guys in the next season. So thank you for watching. Enjoy this nice long video, and yeah, catch you in the next season.